That was the skipper, A.J. Hinch, with our Geico quote of the day. These Astros trying to snap a 3-game losing streak, getting swept by the Texas Rangers, a team they were supposed to beat on their way to win the AL West. Sky-high expectations coming from everywhere for this team, who continues to ignore them. The future is now is something that was just said by Bun B on the big screen here at Minute Maid Park before each game. And it is here, but baseball is not that easy, and big league teams are really hard to play against, which is the message A.J. Hinch is trying to get across. 10% of the season has been played, and I'm not going to let that define who we are. He said, we're going to continue to fly around the bases. We're going to continue to swing with swagger. We're going to continue to be the team that went to the playoffs and won a playoff game, and that's who we want to continue to be this season. So tonight they try to get something going at home at Minute Maid Park, where they tend to play well. Colin McHugh on the mound. Make sure to stay right there. We'll have much more after the break.
Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Lexus, the new 2016 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid. It's next level luxury. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing too high. What a gorgeous night here at Minute Maid Park in Houston. Colin McHugh headed for the mound, and his first home start was a beauty. That was against Kansas City. With 7 shutout innings, he headed the Astros off to an 8-2 win. Last time here against Detroit, he gave up 10 hits and 4 runs in 5 1/3 innings. So for 3 starts, Ash, he is 1-2.
Yeah, the 2 road starts not good at all for Colin, so he wants to revert back to that home form that he came up with, as you say, against Kansas City, lifetime against the Red Sox. 1-2 in 3 starts, and he's pitched well against the Beantowners. A good ERA in those starts. Colin McHugh is a guy who means a lot to this Astros rotation. Number 2 slotting in.
Mookie Betts will lead it off for the Red Sox, managed by John Farrell. He's in right field. Dustin Pedroia is at second base. Xander Bogaerts bats third at shortstop. The DH and cleanup man is David Ortiz, with Hanley Ramirez at first base. Travis Shaw at third. Brock Holt in left field. Ryan Hannigan the catcher. Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field. And the pitcher is knuckleballer Stephen Wright.
Just want to straighten it out. 2-1 is the career mark for Colin McHugh against the Red Sox.
Mookie Betts is first up. Corner infielders are in on the grass for Betts. First pitch hit in the air, and it's back behind the plate and out of play for strike 1 for Colin McHugh. Betts has driven in 13 runs to put him in the top 5 in the American League to open the season. He has 4 homers and a .239 batting average. A very, very good young player. Just 23 years old, from Nashville. The shift is on. The Astros play him to pull. It's off the plate. 1-1. There's quite a difference in the way these two teams used the shift. The Astros are #1 in the majors. They've used it 243 times. Red Sox have used it 59 times. Off the plate, and it's a 2-ball 1-strike count as we welcome our viewing audience on the MLB Network. What a beautiful night here at Minute Maid Park to open a very brief 3-game homestand. And then the Astros head out for 2 cities on the road. That's cranked out to left center field. Very well hit. That ball kicks off the bullpen fence. Betts around second, headed for third, and the throw all the way in is not handled by Valbuena. Well, that was a tremendous throw. Carlos Gomez out in deep left center field had to track it down, but the throw came in on one bounce and it short hopped Valbuena.
That out was presented at third base if that throw could be handled by Valbuena. Taking a look now at our MD Anderson strike zone, you can see on the 2-1 just a groove shot, and Mookie Betts, who has shown some power early in the season, shows some right here. Carlos Gomez can bring some heat from the outfield, and he brought it right here. The hop maybe a little short there for Valbuena, and he couldn't handle it.
Dustin Pedroia had a big game yesterday. The infield lays back. He hits one foul. There's strike one to Pedroia. Pedroia has the best batting average for 100 plate appearances against the Astros of anybody, .419. He begins the night at .290 overall this season. 1 homer, 5 runs batted in. Pedroia got his 1,500th career hit yesterday in Boston. Also hit a homer. He's out in front of that slow breaking ball. 0-2. Pedroia, in his first at bat, hit a 2-run home run at Fenway against Tampa Bay. That snapped a homerless stretch of 106 at bats. He had 3 hits overall in that game. The 10th player in Red Sox history to have as many as 1,500 hits with the club. Now the infielders move in with 2 strikes in the count. That will make it 1-0 Boston. RBI single to right center field by Pedroia for his 6th run batted in.
There's been a lot of talk for Colin McHugh about establishing that 4-seam fastball, but the 2 that he's thrown right now have been turned into base hits. Taking a look now at our Mattress Firm Super Mole. Colin with that 4-seamer. Maybe gets it on the hands a little bit, but Dustin Pedroia, as Brownie said, 3 hits yesterday, trying to stay hot as he embarks on this series.
Xander Bogaerts, the number 3 hitter, takes that pitch, and it's good for strike 1. Bogaerts at .262 has 1 homer, 8 runs batted in. 171 hits for him since May 31st last year. And for last season, he hit .320, the 2nd best batting average in the AL. He was the club MVP. He moves back, and it's 1-1. Adam Hamari is the home plate umpire. Colin McHugh has gone 9-2 here at Minute Maid Park with a 2.31 ERA since June 25th last year. Bogaerts takes, and it's a 2-ball 1-strike count. Eric Kratz is the catcher tonight for McHugh.
It's a belief by some that Colin McHugh has learned to rely on his cutter, maybe more than would like to be seen, and therefore that 4-seamer should become a bigger part of the arsenal.
That evens it at 2-2 to Bogaerts, who drove in 81 last year. Bogaerts was born in Aruba, signed as a free agent in 09 with the Sox. Red Sox are 3-2 on the road. Off the plate, 3-2. This is their 2nd trip of the year. They went to Cleveland and Toronto in that first 5-game trip. Red Sox won 16 of their first 20 meetings with the Astros, but since August of 14, the Astros are 6-3 against Boston. Pop back. Still a full count with David Ortiz on deck. Ortiz was presented a Stetson cowboy hat by the Astros in ceremonies before the game tonight. Business President Reed Ryan making the presentation right in front of the Boston dugout. That's out towards shallow center field. Altuve out. Gomez in. That one dunks in for a hit. And 3 straight Red Sox hits open the game.
One hit sharply, 2 the soft variety, but when you add them up, this is kind of what's been happening with the club. Now the club's able to jump on top early, and it makes it tough on the Astros. Right off the end of the bat. Possibly that large swing ball on the end of the bat leaves Gomez holding back a little longer than he needed.
David Ortiz has 13 runs batted in. Ortiz, as he comes to the plate, has a .292 average with 3 homers. He's a career .350 hitter against Houston. Red Sox have several players who have hit well against the Astros. Strike 1 to the DH.
Is going to present Big Poppy with a
presentation of the personalized custom black Stetson cowboy hat.
Premium Western apparel store.
I think Big Poppy might be donning that to
you,
plenty of places coming up.
Congratulations.
Foul back. 0-2 to Big Poppy. Ortiz is a 9-time All-Star who is the best man ever to DH in Major League Baseball. There's the view from atop Union Station on that roof deck. On a gorgeous night. Low humidity, just a slight breeze coming through the stadium. Fastball is taken, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hanley Ramirez is on deck. Red Sox opened the day with a 7-8 record, 3.5 games out of first place. Baltimore's 10-4, occupying the top spot in the AL East. Red Sox are tied with Toronto and Tampa Bay for second. Now it's 2-2.
Top of the strike zone is awfully hard to find. See if this pitch winds up out of the zone. A single seam on that zone would get you a strike.
2 strikes. He's hit .333. Now it's 3-2. Ortiz is 0 for 7 in his career against Colin McHugh. Gomez is well toward left center field. Ball 4 will load the bases. 4 straight Boston base runners here against McHugh to open the game.
Time for Brent Strom to try to settle things down quickly. See if you can come up with that. Maybe tap her back to the mound where you get the 1-2-3 double play.
Hanley Ramirez will be the batter. The Red Sox are second in runs scored in the American League, 74 runs through 15 games. Now the home plate umpire Adam Hamari goes out, bringing Eric Kratz back with him. Ramirez seems to be a new man. To listen to the descriptions of his work with the Red Sox. He shed about 20 pounds. Came in and really worked to learn how to play first base. .258, 1 homer, 7 runs batted in, and .363 lifetime against the Astros. Ball 1 to Ramirez.
Now, Brownie, I would say physically, Ramirez looks like the younger player. Some years back, not the version that played with Boston last year.
And by all reports, he's handled himself well with the mitt at first base. George Springer's moving several steps toward his right, more toward right center. Last night, the Astros lost their third in a row at Texas. They lost 7-4. Dallas Keuchel the loser. Curveball, and Ramirez takes it for ball 2. In that game, Keuchel surrendered 13 hits and 6 runs in 6 innings. So the Astros won 2 starters in their rotation, trying to get things squared away. They've had good games, but their ERAs are uncharacteristically high for them. It's a high drive. Rasmus back to the base of the wall. Now back in a little bit for the grab. Here's the tag at third. Pedroia coming into the plate. Sacrifice fly, 2-0. Ramirez gets his 8th RBI.
Well, though it produces a run, it could have been a lot worse. And so now Collins in a spot where if he can get that ground ball for the double play, you get out with a couple of runs. Kobe Rasmus in left field set up deep on this. In fact, I think initially he just wasn't sure how deep this fly ball was going to carry, but eventually able to come in a good distance.
26-year-old Travis Shaw comes to the plate. Off to a .340 start with 1 homer, 8 runs batted in his second year with the Red Sox. Popped up. Luis Valbuena over. Infield fly rule is called. 2 outs. Dan Bellino's the umpire at third. We'll put that fist in the air. 2 down, and it's Brock Holt batting. Holt was an all-star last year. He plays just about everywhere. Played all 4 infield positions, all 3 outfield positions last year for the 2nd straight season for Boston. Holt has a local pedigree. He was born in Fort Worth but went to Rice University. Smart player. There's strike 1. Holt at .289 with 2 homers, 9 runs batted in. Just does a lot of things well. He is not a big slugger. He hit only 2 homers last year and 454 at bats, but has a good on base average. Boston got him in a trade with Pittsburgh. Many players were involved in that deal. And Holt has not disappointed in a Red Sox uniform.
Certainly not against the Astros over his career. .359 mark.
That's a flare out toward left field. Rasmus making the catch, and the Red Sox break on top with 2 runs on 3 hits, leaving 2. Boston 2, Houston coming up. stranded a couple. Now the Astros come up with this starting lineup for A.J. Hinch, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Jose Altuve continues to sizzle. He leads it off at second base with George Springer in right field. Carlos Correa is batting third and playing shortstop. The cleanup man is left fielder Colby Rasmus, who went deep twice last night. It's Tyler White at first base, Evan Gattis the DH, Carlos Gomez at center field, Luis Valbuena at third base, Eric Kratz is the catcher.
And on the mound, knuckleballer Stephen Wright. He's pitched very well this season, 2.13 ERA. But he's just 0-2, so the Red Sox not scoring runs for him. You see a great whip near the 1 mark last year in 16 games. 9 as a starter, he was 5-4. So the knuckleballer has come in a la Tim Wakefield for the Red Sox and doing a nice job.
Wakefield with that terrific career with Boston. Jose Altuve gets it started for Houston. He's on a 5-game hitting streak. His batting average is .311, including 5 homers, 10 runs batted in. He's among the league leaders in many departments. He takes that knuckler, and there's ball 1. Wright has given up a couple of runs in the first inning in both of his first 2 starts, but you referred to that low ERA, Ash, and Wright has been really there at the top of the list in terms of performance by these Boston starters, despite the fact that he's 0-2. 31 years old. It's 1-1.
You can tell the catcher's already having a good time this evening. The knuckleball coming out of the fingers there, and just a little rollover. That'll prevent the real good dance.
Altuve fouls it. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jose, who is 3rd in the league in total bases. He's 2nd in runs scored with 15.
What a great shot on the knuckleball that was.
You saw it from the other angle, catching Joe Niekro. That was really not a charmed life for you, was it?
I winced many a time as it started.
Little dribbler goes foul for the catcher Hannigan, and it remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Astros are 6th in runs scored in the American League, with 61 runs in 16 games. Trying to shed that 3-game losing streak tonight after being swept in Texas. This just a 3-game homestand for them before going to Seattle and Oakland next week. In the dirt, 2-2.
Picked the goalie back there. Our catcher was trying to come up with a kick save had he not had that land in his glove.
This is no day at the beach for Ryan Hannigan. The knuckleballer out there. That one almost hit him. 3-2. Wright has walked 3 in 12 2/3 innings to open the season. He began his career with Cleveland as a 2nd-round draft choice in '06 from Torrance, California, University of Hawaii. Strike 3 call to open the game for Wright.
Knuckleball trying to find the outside corner rather, and finds it. And Jose, in this endeavor at times this year to be a little more patient, has taken some strikes in that very area. It's good knuckleball on a 3-2.
George Springer with 4 homers, 10 runs batted in. Checks in with a .266 average after going 3 for 12 against the Rangers. Ground ball left side and knocked down by Shaw, but he can't make the clean pickup, so Springer reaches. Shaw made a couple of outstanding plays in the Red Sox game yesterday.
For me, that's a knock. That's a tough play to the left, and I think any third baseman, anybody who's ever attempted to play that position would tell you, just a very tough effort. And then you compound it with the speed of Springer going down the line. Wow.
Rule an error. Shaw's 2nd of the year. Carlos Correa is the batter. He's on a 3-game hitting streak. Correa looks at it. It's strike 1 to Carlos, a .268 hitter with 3 homers, 7 runs batted in. A lot of Correa fans, including some up high. Correa has started all but 1 of the Astros' first 17 games. Throw goes over. Some teams like to run on a knuckleball pitcher, figuring that it's slow arriving at the plate and the catcher has fits making a clean catch of it and then throwing.
Yeah, it's hard to get started behind the plate on that pitch. You know, Carlos Correa, nobody, quite frankly, is as good as he was that opening series in New York. But I would say he's better than we've seen since. And he's going to settle in and become the player that he's capable of being. It'll happen soon.
He has an .821 OPS. That ranks second among American League shortstops. Line shot into right field. He cracked that one hard. Out to Mookie Betts. Runners at first and second. One out now on the Correa single.
I think the guys that do hit the knuckleball well do it as Correa did right there. Just wait as long as you can, see the ball and the movement, and then sting it into right field. That was gorgeous. Yeah, you can't do it any better than that. Catcher's getting tied in knots, and meanwhile Correa just sits and bangs it at the last moment.
Outstanding opposite field approach by Correa. That gets Rasmus to the plate with 2 men on. And ball one. Just the way Hannigan caught that one. It's a battle back there, isn't it, Ash?
It's a battle that is sometimes not won by catchers. I can attest to that.
5 homers, 11 runs batted in for Rasmus, who went deep twice last night. He's hitting .311. Glittering numbers. Springer draws a throw, and it's a very good one over the bag. He got back on a dive.
Almost a la Bobby Grich back there at the bag. Second baseman dropping the knee in front, and actually shortstop, pardon me, but making it tough. Bobby Grich used to drop that leg in front of the bag and not allow you in.
Bogarts took the throw in the shift. Right, looking directly back at Springer, and he throws a strike. 1-1. It might be easier for a knuckleball pitcher to eye the base runner because of the delivery he has.
Well, that's really good work. Hitting corners with a knuckleball is generally just good fortune. You're trying to throw a strike basically with a knuckleball.
The Astros lead the league in steals with 15. They've tried 21. And a turn back towards second. Sends Springer walking back to the base.
The inside move, you can do almost anything pitchers can in that endeavor.
Rasmus, for the 9th time in his career, hit 2 home runs in a game last night. That one goes foul, and it's 1-2 to Colby.
Got the reminder, Brownie, on Twitter, that something we've talked about many times, but Bob Uecker said the best way to catch the knuckleball was to wait till it stopped rolling and pick it up.
Colby reached base 3 times in 4 plate appearances last night. He's second in on base average, second in slugging in the AL. Puts one in the air to left center field. Jackie Bradley Jr. over for the catch, and it's out number 2.
Again, good hitting this time by Colby Rasmus on the knuckleball, but fortunes have not been shining on the Astros.
Tyler White is the batter. White has set a club record with 5 home runs through his first 16 major league games. .315 with 12 runs batted in for Tyler. He's tied for 5th in total bases in the American League with 36. Evan Gattis is on deck. White looks at ball 1.
See, the catcher has that high-lie basket back there trying to corral things. That large catcher's mitt, which is permitted. Kind of like a first baseman's glove.
In for a strike. 1-1. You could tell White flinched a little bit there on the pitch from Wright. That late movement will do that.
He's gone after the outside corner, hit it, and missed on the inside corner here. And of course, the calls went the opposite direction.
Second baseman Pedroia takes it over to first. It's no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 men left. 2-0 Boston after 1.
Red Sox as we go to the top of the second, and Colin McHugh gets back to work. And on this day 2 years ago, Colin McHugh was called up when the Astros placed Scott Feldman on the disabled list. He made his debut as a Houston Astro at Safeco Field, and he was dominating the Mariners. 12 strikeouts. Everything was working for him that night. He felt really good, had a great rookie campaign following that season. Of course, the 19 wins last night. He talks about that start, saying it was very important because it was another chance for him to prove that he belonged in the big leagues and to get the ball every 5 days for a team. He was sent down early in spring training that year, was a nobody when it came to... As Springer helps him out right there, guys, I'll toss it upfield.
Great catch by George Springer. He's been spreading himself all over right field. Here in the first 3 weeks of the season, he robbed Ryan Hannigan by laying out.
Yeah, this last 3 or 4 days, George is starting to flash those plays that we grew accustomed to a year and 2 years ago. I mean, he is making them one after another. He's as aggressive a right fielder as you'll see in the game.
He took that one away on the line drive. Jackie Bradley Jr. is the batter now. And that pitch is wide, ball 1 to Bradley. A .239 hitter, no homers, 4 runs batted in. Since August 1st, 2014, McHugh is second in the majors in wins. 1-1. Jake Arrieta is 30-9 since August 1st of 2014. Colin McHugh is 27-9 in that period of time. Clayton Kershaw's third, 26-8 is his record. Rip toward the right field corner. Bradley is headed for extra bases. Springer plays it on a warning track. It's a 1-out double.
Back-to-back curveballs. First one very effective. Second one left up a little bit more, but I think it was more about the timing as Bradley was able to zero in. Everybody, when they see a breaking ball hit hard, calls it a hanger. Yeah, this one did stay up a bit, but it's about the timing for the hitter, and Bradley was all over it.
That's 4 hits for the Red Sox in the early going. And batting average for Bradley running against the trend. Bats opened the game with a triple, and here's the pickoff at second. Red Sox club has a number of outstanding batsmen. 5th in the majors in on-base average right now at .332. Out toward the left field corner, Colby Rasmus watching it bang off the wall. That'll get a run home. Here's the throw in to second, not in time. RBI double for Betts. 3-0 Red Sox.
Mookie Betts already flirting with notions of a cycle this evening. That ball was hit hard again. The curveball.
Triple and double for Betts on the scorecard so far.
And you see where Kratz was going to catch that ball is down around the knees. But if you time that breaking ball well, stay back and then pop at it, you'll make it look like a hanger every time. Scoreboard has seen better days.
Dustin Pedroia singled in the first run. He takes strike one. Pedroia is 31 now. Went to Arizona State, and then he was drafted in the 2nd round in 04 by the Sox. 4-time All-Star, 4 Gold Gloves. One and one. You mentioned that .419 lifetime batting average against Houston, and then he improved it with a hit his first time up. So that's the all-time best against the Astros for a career of at least 100 plate appearances. Carlos Delgado's second, .398. Pedroia hits one foul. 1 and 2. We have 2 of the elite and scrappy second basemen in the game here in this series, Ash.
Both small guys. I was just thinking about Dustin Pedroia. He dropped to the 2nd round when he was drafted by the Red Sox. So all clubs passed on him. He's been an MVP to this point. But that small body guy is just not going to draw the attention of the scouts right away. And makes you wonder how many really good smallish players have been left behind.
He swings at the 1-2 pitch in the dirt. Kratz blocks it and throws him out. First strikeout for McHugh, and it's out number 2.
Well, Colin doesn't leave any possibility of the hanger here as he drops it in the dirt. Nice job by Kratz. He and Castro have been very good in this regard.
That was textbook, Ash.
He'll drop that glove down, and I have not seen him deviate at all. Glove on the ground, fill up the hole, keep the body still.
Xander Bogaerts gets an opportunity with Betts at 2nd and 2 outs. He singled to center his first time up. There's strike one for Colin McHugh. First time Colin pitched, and the Astros opened the season in a frigid Yankee Stadium. He lasted 1/3 of an inning, giving up 5 earned runs. And for a strike, and it's 0-2 to Bogaerts. The Red Sox last year finished 78 and 84. They were in last place in the AL East, 15 games out of first. And they spent some money. Brought in David Price, who started for them again yesterday. He got lit up by his former club Tampa Bay yesterday. So Price to open the season, Nash, is 2-0, but a 7.06 ERA.
That will leave Red Sox fan a little concerned.
Foul back, and they also got Craig Kimbrell to be their closer. Those were the 2 major additions the Red Sox made as they tried to get back to a World Series. They've won it 3 times in recent years.
Yeah, I say those are strong additions.
One ball, 2 strikes. So here we are at the 1/10th hole to open the season.
I just saw it go by.
4th season for John Farrell as the skipper. He had been the pitching coach earlier. And good to see him in good health.
Dealt with cancer this past year.
Bogarts is down on strike. Second straight strikeout for McHugh. The Red Sox get a run on back-to-back doubles. They leave him in, and they're in front, 3-0.
Bottom of the second. Become a 2016 Coca-Cola Astros Buddies member for $25. Get a voucher for 4 tickets to a select Astros game. Front of the line access to Kids Run the Bases, autograph sessions, and more. Visit astros.com/buddies to purchase a membership for kids up to 12 years old.
Evan Gattis with the score 3-0 Red Sox takes strike one, leading off the home second inning with a 190 average in the early going for Evan. Evan had a late start to this season, coming back from that sports hernia surgery. He's had 21 at-bats. And he had a workout on the field today, doing some throwing from the catcher position to second base. 1-1. He had the catching gear on last night, but was not needed to catch in Texas.
If catchers were allowed to block the plate anymore, which they're really not, I'd put my money on Evan Gattis any day.
You bet. How sturdy would that be, that blocking off a runner? Fouling it back, he keeps the count at 1-2. Stephen Wright has only had one career start against the Astros, 2 appearances. And that start was his first major league start, August 6th, 2013. And after the first inning, he was removed after giving up 3 runs on 1 hit and 2 walks. He gets a strikeout, and that's number 2 of the game.
I'll say this for Stephen Wright early on here. He's filling up the strike zone with that knuckleball. Even some pitches that he hasn't gotten calls on. You can see ball calls on pitches in that sequence that, I mean, it's really unfortunate for any pitcher. But he's dealing with that thing.
Gets his second strikeout.
Is that what you call a walk-off right there?
Yeah, it's a walk-off. Carlos Gomez at 189 has 1 RBI. That's strike one. That popped out at the mitt of Ryan Hannigan in that first major league start against the Astros. Stephen Wright was working to catcher Ryan Lavarnway, and Lavarnway had 4 passed balls in his first inning in the majors. Bunted beautifully, and that's going to be a single to lead to get him to a 1-out base runner position here in the second inning. Second hit for the Astros.
Well, if nothing else is working, I mean, that is really turning out to be a weapon for Carlos Gomez, and a really good bunt on top of it.
Gomez had a bunt single Wednesday night at Texas. Now it's Luis Valbuena batting. Valbuena's on a 3-game hitting streak. has not gone deep yet this year. And the throw goes over on Gomez. Gomez has 2 steals in 3 attempts. And for his career, he's been very proficient as a base stealer.
That bunt hit for Gomez shows up as his 3rd bunt single of the season.
Well, it makes some sense because he's not been swinging the bat well, but he can put down bunts like the one you just saw. So when a hitter has not found his stroke yet, that'll work for a few hits here and there.
Absolutely.
Gomez has stolen 222 bases in his career. Wright has very quick feet on that move to first. It's almost mandatory for a knuckleball pitcher to have a good move to first, right? Because it's a situation in which the base runners can take all kinds of liberties against him.
Yeah, I would list that number 2, being quick to the plate, being probably the first thing that will aid him.
No balls, 2 strikes. Over the years, you've heard it from many guys when you were catching Joe Niekro. The hitters just don't like trying to face a knuckleball pitcher. He's so different. The pitch is so slow. Even guys who are hot at the time sometimes would prefer not to be out there facing a pitcher of this type.
The belief is that it's not only about that night, but about nights to come after what you see with the knuckleball.
Hannigan blocks it, but if that pitch hangs, it can go a long way off the bat.
Some guys are actually good knuckleball hitters, and I'll point out Carlos Correa in that stay back and hit it the other way approach with his first at bat. That'll work time and time again, but if you don't have that approach, you're likely to have a tough time.
Shift is on as usual for Valbuena. He looks at that one for ball 2. Now Wright throws his knuckleball hard.
Catcher starts moving here, and so yeah, the ball keeps running away from the plate. I was wondering, just watching Lavarnway, or rather catcher here this evening, Hannigan, if he had taken a strike away, but he did not.
Wright throws a knuckler 83% of the time this season. He gets a punch out. That's number 3. And Eric Kratz will follow. Kratz is looking for his first hit as an Astro. He is 0 for 11. Now the third baseman Shaw drops back. Kratz is a .304 career hitter against the Red Sox with 3 homers, 4 runs batted in against them. This is Kratz's 4th start of the season, filling in for the injured Max Stassi. In the dirt, and that one hit him as he went back to first base. Gomez got drilled by that throw as it bounced, it appeared.
You don't want to take one in the rib cage area, and I'm afraid Carlos Gomez may have done just that. Maybe under the rib cage.
Hanley Ramirez has worked long hours at adjusting to the first base position this year. And it's a ball to Kratz.
The knuckler is not messing up the catcher as much as the home plate umpire here this evening. We've seen a number of pitches in the strike zone not called strikes. The Astros need to find a way to take advantage.
Jose Altuve's on deck. Way outside. Hannigan lunging for it. 2-0.
Hannigan will get penalized under the framing viewpoint this season based on all of this, but well, he's doing a whale of a job.
When you were catching Joe Niekro, did the ball break different directions at the last second?
Yeah, it's really the one that goes. A backhand is the easy side. The other direction is very, very tough. The one that goes that direction.
3-0.
I haven't seen this knuckleball tonight from Wright missing badly very much. And therefore, there's really no reason for Adam Hamari, the home plate umpire, to be missing as many as he is.
And for a strike. 3-1 to Kratz. It's just so much of a different game when there's a knuckleball pitcher out there. It seems that balls off the bat are hit very softly quite often. The pitch is so slow. It messes up the hitter's timing so much. And for a strike. 3-2, and it can be that pass balls, wild pitches, misplays behind knuckleball pitchers can really be burdensome.
That's the third knuckler here in the inning, or this one a breaking ball. Hey, how about that? In the strike zone, only the second called here on Kratz.
3-2, 2 outs. Gomez going, and it's a swing and a miss. Hannigan with a throw to first to Ramirez for strikeout number 4 for Wright. Boston leads at 3-0 after 2.
Alexis defensive rankings here, looking at the Astros defense in the outfield. We've already seen Carlos Gomez throwing here this evening, and he's been throwing well on the season. Came up with a big out on that one. It turned out to prevent a run in Arlington. How about George Springer and some of the work he's been doing recently, going into the gap twice in Arlington, and a nice play to his left toward the line. Tonight a diving play, and it's such a lift for the pitchers. It just brings the pitching staff up, an entire team. So that defensive side has been performing well here the last few days. The rest of the ball club needs to be able to step in, chime in, and play that kind of game as well. Those arms all very good.
David Ortiz drew a walk in the first inning. There's strike 1 to Ortiz. He certainly reached that folk hero status in Boston.
Showed us a little bit of the Stetson bunting form.
Yeah. 40 years old now. And he takes a look at ball 1. Last year he hit .273, belted 37 homers, drove in 108 runs. That's off the bat, foul, and it's 1-2 to Ortiz. Ortiz in 06 had a 54 home run season. A big factor in those World Series titles in 04, 07, and 13. Ortiz hits one. That one is of interest to the fans as they follow the flight of it way back out of play, except for him. He made a play.
Gentleman in the second tank tried to make the play. Barehanded, found out that Big Papi hits it rather hard.
Just off the plate.
Here we go. Take a peek. The good hands, folks. Maybe it was another company.
It stung. Ortiz out to center field. Gomez with the running catch. 1 out.
Carlos Gomez was moving laterally a little bit as he came in hard on this ball and ran it right to the almost to the right shoulder. Watch him as he comes in, tracks it, and then it crosses on him. Whoa, back to that other side.
It's a great view. Downtown Houston in that direction. This is on the eastern edge of it. Hanley Ramirez with a sac fly earlier takes a strike. Hanley signed in Boston in 2000 as a free agent. Had just a couple of at-bats before he moved along in a trade to Florida after the 05 season. Sharp single, and Ramirez is 1 for 1 with a sac fly in this game. That's 6 hits for the Sox. Our fan cam is presented by GulloAuto.com.
A lot of good stuff being enjoyed. I'll bet the Boston Red Sox are enjoying what they're seeing from Hanley Ramirez right now. He looks like that yesteryear shortstop, playing well.
Fireworks after the game tonight on a beautiful night. Travis Shaw popped the third earlier. Shaw had 226 at bats with Boston last year. And with Ramirez moving to first base this season, that opens up third for Shaw, although many people thought that the Big Panda would be playing there, and he's on the disabled list. Pablo Sandoval is going through an episode this year with the Red Sox. There's ball 1. Seems the Red Sox are in good stead, though, with Shaw, the everyday third sacker.
Now that's a left shoulder injury on Sandoval, and been kind of a saga going on.
Yeah, it really has. 1 ball, 1 strike. There are all sorts of reports, but we're not sure what the real story is. There was one report that he came in and said he had a left shoulder injury and was placed on the disabled list, but there were some people who said they didn't know anything about it prior to that. In for a strike, 1 and 2. Well, he came in vastly overweight, and the Red Sox, of course, are trying to get back to the World Series this year. They want everybody in shape, playing hard, pulling the rope together. And so Pablo had not been playing very much. Bouncer up the middle, and Valbuena gets his glove on it. It's out into shallow center field for Gomez. Bare hands, it throws. Whoa! There was nobody at third, and Carlos Correa saved the day. Colin McHugh was running over to back up third base, but that throw was headed to an unoccupied base, and Correa was able to knock it down.
Mentioned that throw the other night in Arlington that Carlos Gomez came up with a big one to get an out and keep a run off the board. He tries to throw on the run again right here, and like you say, if not for Carlos Correa, his size, his athletic ability, this could have been bad.
And the third baseman dived and got his glove on the ball, so the shortstop Correa had to try to get there. Now it's 1st and 3rd, 1 out for Brock Holt. The shift is on. Valbuena is in on the grass at third for Holt. And there's the runner at third with Shaw at first base. In for strike 1 for Colin McHugh. McHugh has used his fastball 29% of the time this year. That's the 5th lowest fastball percentage in the majors to this early point of the season.
May I say that can be a bit misleading when he throws as many cutters as he does. I think for most pitchers they would call their cutter a version of their fastball, but they are separated in the numbers.
Yeah, the separation, the cutter 38%, fastball 29%. And cutter's been a big pitch for him. Holt takes a look at it. It's 1 and 2. It's been a great baseball program at Rice University under Wayne Graham for many years. Holt coming from that program after going to the NCAA tournament in '09, hitting .379. It's 2-2. College Baseball World Series has really grown down through the years. And then the year after Holt had those great performances in postseason in college baseball, he had a torn MCL in his left knee in June of 2010. And he was in the Pittsburgh organization. Still 2-2. Well, people were picking the Red Sox to win the AL East. That was not an unusual choice before the season started.
A lot of folks like the Blue Jays. You know, I think the Yankees are always going to be some people's choice.
In the dirt. The runner takes off for second base. No throw from Kratz. Shaw makes it on ball 3. A wild pitch.
That's a wild pitch that takes that double play out of the possibilities here. I hate to see that. Kratz never quite got down on this, but still comes up with a good block.
Now the infield comes in. Foul ball, keeping the count full on Brock Holt. These Red Sox players, several of them really have top-notch numbers against the Astros. Holt, 359 in 19 career games against Houston with a .414 on base average, .474 slugging percentage against Houston for Brock Holt. That's into left field for an RBI, and on the single by Holt, Red Sox get run number 4 home to make it 4-0. 3 straight singles for Boston.
That's a bit like the Texas Rangers, making it look easy right now. You can see Collins not just filling up the heart of the plate, but they're handling pitches.
That's 8 hits for Boston. Hannigan was deprived of a hit on that diving play in right field by Springer in the second inning. Hannigan, the former Red, takes ball 1. Hannigan is one of 9 current Red Sox players with at least 25 at-bats and a .325 career average against Houston.
Another case of a pitch, all ball within strike zone, and called a ball. And I don't care if your catcher's setting up in and that pitch is away. That should not be missed by a home plate umpire.
Curve, and it's 2-0.
It's like a hitter that's missing pitches through the heart of the plate, and it reflects in his batting average, but there's nothing to see for the umpires.
McHugh was 19-7 last year, second in wins in the American League. Off the plate there. Pats held it. 3-0 now. Bradley's on deck. Hannigan takes it. It's a strike. Ryan's 35 years old now. During his time in Cincinnati, he caught 2 no-hitters by Homer Bailey. That's out of play for Tyler White. Back into the seats. 3-2 now to Hannigan.
With all the things you can do offensively in a game, you'll never have a bigger regular season game than at least for a catcher, than catching that no-hitter.
And the Cubs had that thrill again last night.
Jake Arrieta is just off the charts, the things he's doing.
Yeah, and he mentioned wanting to get the no-hitter for his catcher David Ross, who's retiring after this year. Runner going, and that's flared foul again and out of play.
Well, that was thoughtful of him to go out and get that for his
Wasn't
catcher.
it? Hannigan is one of those rarities in the majors with more career walks than strikeouts. And he's closing in on 1,800 at bats for his career. Christian Vasquez sharing the catching position with him right now. Lined, Altuve's there, bad base running, and that's a double play. Well, he might have been running on the pitch. Yeah, he was. Okay. So canceled the bad base running, and it's 1 run, 3 hits, a man left. We go to the bottom of the third, 4-0 Red Sox.
Lead 4-0 here as we go to the bottom of the third inning. Jack in the Box takes us inside the box score as we look at Jose Altuve, a guy who has done a lot of things great, but 390 at home since last June 25th. That leads the major leagues. Pretty easy to understand at 390, and he just keeps on swinging it, hitting the long ball this year. 5 home runs already. Keep in mind, he hit 15 last year. It's not a new thing for Jose, but he is really becoming that guy, and he's the guy you want at the plate in a big moment. A great swing the other night in Arlington, lined out to right field. But did all he could possibly do.
390 at home since that point in June last year, Altuve. And you take a look at the first 5 games, 190 batting average. The last 11, 375. On base percentage way up. Slugging percentage 850 in the last 11 games. He struck out looking first time. Now a ground ball to shortstop. Xander Bogaerts makes it a 1-pitch out, number 1 for Stephen Wright. Wright with the early cushion of 4 runs of support is taking it right to the win column. In his mind, he'd like to anyway, and showing no signs as he breezes along early why that cannot happen. George Springer will try to disrupt that plan right here. Springer reached on what was ruled an error on Shaw in the first inning. Red Sox made a pitching move before tonight's game. Springer takes all the way, strike 1. They have optioned yesterday's losing pitcher William Cuevas to Pawtucket. Cuevas lost in his major league debut, and they've called up Roenis Elias from Pawtucket for a lefty in their bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike. And they're still officially listed for Sunday night's game as TBA for the starter. But we're told it will be Henry Owens. 2 balls and a strike. He's at Pawtucket right now. Scott Feldman to pitch Sunday night for the Astros. Tomorrow it's a 3:05 start. Clay Buchholz native of Texas, against Mike Fiers. 3-1 now to Springer. Liner to center. Bradley pretty well hit by Springer, but nothing to show as it's out number 2.
Things will change at some point, but there's a feeling when you're hitting line drives and making outs and having what you feel like are some pretty good at bats, and then no results for it. You get back to the dugout and you can see some guys glancing at each other, just that look of what else is coming.
Carlos Correa punched a line drive single to right in the first, one of 2 Houston hits. The other's a butt hit. It's ball 1. Going back to Wright's last 5 starts since July 30th last year, he's 2-2 with a 2.20 ERA. 7-7 in his major league career. 1-1. For the Astros, this weekend presents a chance to get rolling at home, where they're 3-4. 2 balls and a strike. They have been 56-32 at Minute Maid Park over the last 2 seasons. Foul ball there. They've had tough opponents so far. Kansas City came in for a 4-game series, and Detroit for a 3-game set.
Boy, everybody swung and missed on that one.
It's a whiff party. Now 3-2 to Correa. No particular motivation for the hitters to work the count and try to tire out a knuckleball pitcher, right?
Yeah, you can go 300 pitches with that pitch. Might be a little extreme. Okay.
Knuckleballers can be staff savers, though, can't they?
They can. They can. And the thing about Wright tonight, I'm impressed. And we talked about the fact that he's pitched well despite being 0-2. He's thrown strikes. He hasn't had to change things, throw fastballs. We've seen a breaking ball or 2.
Ball 4. 2-out walk to Correa. First walk for Wright. Academy Sports and Outdoors on the Houston Astros are hitting home runs for Houston. Colby Rasmus has 12, including postseason, since October 2nd. Josh Donaldson, Bryce Harper, and Daniel Murphy with 9. Academy donates $100 for every 2016 Astros homer and $200 for every Carlos Correa homer. Rasmus hit a fly ball to center in the first inning.
Last night, a big night for Colby personally with the 2 home runs. The Astros just couldn't take advantage, but he was slamming away, taking advantage of that ballpark. And that's a home run in any yard. But there's something about hitting in Arlington that seems to lead to some of this, and did for Colby. A guy that, when he gets hot, can really put on a show.
This one gets by the catcher Hannigan. Correa advancing to second, and it's 1-1.
When a hitter swings through it, nobody thinks anything of it. When the catcher whiffs, it's not good.
Pass ball on Hannigan. Back to the first sacker. Hanley Ramirez out number 3. No runs, no hits, and a man left after 3. 4-0 Red Sox.
Minute Maid Park tomorrow as they take on the Red Sox. 10,000 fans will receive a Carlos Correa replica white jersey presented by Waste Management. For more info, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. You know who's a fan of Carlos Correa? Is Steph Curry, who's in town. Not playing yet against the Rockets. He didn't play last night anyway. We'll see if he plays in the next game. But he actually went into the Astros clubhouse before the game. Carlos Gomez, of course, had to take his picture with Steph Curry. I think they even posed with the Panthers helmet. Who knows? But a really good treat for some of these guys to get to meet a player like Steph Curry.
They go for a game of horse?
I would take him on in horse. I would lose.
Not Steph Curry, but Carlos Gomez.
Oh, yeah.
Or Carlos Correa.
He looked like he was doing an interview right there as he watches this game from a great seat. And we're hearing a story about him before the game tonight, that when he got to his hotel after the game, he signed autographs for everybody who was waiting for him, about 100 in total.
Attaboy, Matt. Attaboy.
It's really impressive with it when a guy, when anybody does something like that, but a guy that has to be in awfully high demand right now gives his time to all those fans.
So the Rockets showed life with that 1-point win. Rolled to first base, but foul for Tyler White. And now people are wondering, well, is Curry going to be able to play the next game? Not sure, with that bad ankle.
I would imagine if the Warriors felt like those were must-win games, or the one already, that he would have been playing, but I'm sure they want him at full strength.
Tyler White. The toss to Colin McHugh. 1 out.
Take that to the bag yourself when you have that opportunity. Was there a need for the toss here? Keep coming at it. Keep coming to the bag. Any extra touches and you run the risk of problems.
Mookie Betts has a start on a cycle. In fact, he's halfway there with a triple and an RBI double tonight. In for strike one to Betts. Marcus Lynn Betts, named for Mookie Blaylock, an NBA star. Never played outfield until 2014. His uncle is former Major League second baseman Terry Shumpert. Mookie became the youngest everyday center fielder for Boston since Reggie Smith in '67. Colin McHugh had some nice action on that pitch. It's 1-2.
How about a little love for Mookie Wilson somewhere in the story?
Yeah.
It's a good sinker. See, Colin kind of rolled the hand over that pitch.
That's slapped through the wide open right side for a two-strike single for Betts. So now he needs a home run to complete the cycle, and it's only the fourth inning.
Looked awfully easy. A lot of pitches up from Colin tonight. And I don't know if that's by design, but I wouldn't guess so.
That's the 9th hit for the Sox. Pedroia drove in a run with an RBI single in the first. He struck out in the second. Betts draws the throw. He's 3 for 3 in steals. The Red Sox, who once upon a time were a plodding club, are third in stolen bases with 13, and they've only been caught once. They were caught on their first attempt of the season, and they've reeled off 13 straight steals since then. He has a pretty good sized lead. McHugh delivers, and it's ball one to Pedroia. That's a 92.9% success rate, the highest in the majors for the Red Sox. That's rip foul. 1-1 to Pedroia.
Don't even set foot in my kitchen. Pitch in, up and in, and Pedroia very quick.
Those are some of the guys who have had that excellence in their careers against Houston, with OPSs of over 1,000 for both Pedroia and Ortiz.
It's kind of heart and soul Red Sox there when you talk those two.
Throw over to first. Yeah, not playing tonight. Pablo Sandoval has a .328 average. Not playing tonight. Chris Young, Houston native, has a .326 career average against the Astros.
I wonder if John Farrell, skipper of the Red Sox, even knows what Mr. Young has done against Houston pitching, or at least what it looks like.
Well, Mr. Young might tell him.
He may.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Astros put on a little pitch out, seeing if the running game might be in effect.
The last Boston player to hit for the cycle was Brock Holt last June 16th against Atlanta. And Atlanta will be the next destination on this trip for Boston. Tap to third. Valbuena charging. Taking care of it. 2 outs. Betts to second base. Now it's Bogaerts who's 1 for 2.
Something about when you're struggling. Just another aspect here. You do get the ground ball with a man on first base, but it's so slowly hit there's no chance at the double play. When you're playing well, things just fall in line for you.
7 different Red Sox players have hits. Bogaerts has 1 of those. Betts has 3. That's ball 1. Now Betts is taking his lead at second to the inside of the baseline with 2 outs in the inning. Somewhat odd to see a player with 2 outs and him being the only base runner at second be just about at the edge of the grass on the infield, because players are taught most of the time, aren't they, to be able to take that turn at an angle by playing back closer to the shortstop. Ash.
I would generally say this is quite unusual. Most guys will back off of that baseline as they take their lead at second base. Almost become a shallowed up shortstop.
Yeah. But he's very fast. Maybe he can turn that bag like nobody. Foul back, 1-2.
Again, one of those myriad of pitches left up from Colin. And again, I leave open the possibility that it's by design, but a lot of pitches up.
Craig Shipley, a former Astro player, is now in the Red Sox front office. He's been their international scouting director, and he was there when Bogaerts was signed. Ripped on a line, left field corner. That'll get a run home. 5-0 Boston. Played by Rasmus. RBI double for Bogaerts. That's his 9th run batted in. Double number 7.
Kind of fell in love with the stroke of Bogaerts last year. I think he's going to be a long time, really good shortstop for the Red Sox. You combine him with the youthful Mookie Betts, and got some good young talent. But this pitch in, and I mean really in, quick bat. Talking about Pedroia, how quick he was earlier in the inning. That's just getting the barrel to it.
David Ortiz is 0 for 1 with a walk. He looks at strike 1. Bogaerts got hit number 10 for the Sox. Ortiz fouls it.
Now look at our forward spray chart as we see Big Papi at the plate. What does he do when he faces a straight up defense versus a shift? No shift, 2014 to 16. You see very few hits back to left field, back up the middle. But with the shift on it, of course, that's been the case most of the time. He'll pull the ball. He'll go up the middle, but not many to left field.
1-2 to Ortiz. His career numbers for World Series played, he's been in 3 World Series, are the best of any player who's had at least 50 appearances, with an OPS of 1.372. Now 2-2 to Ortiz.
Used to hear about Red Sox fans waking up in the morning and the first thing they would ask for is that box score to see what the Red Sox and Ted Williams and then Carl Yastrzemski and Fred Lynn and Jim Rice and the boys would do. And I'll guarantee you for the last 15 years or so it's been David Ortiz, Big Papi, that they want to see first.
Really has. Chris Davinsky's warming up for Houston now. He's the long man in the bullpen. McHugh is at 88 pitches, as you see on the top left of your screen. Dallas Keuchel threw 99 last night. The Yankees are leading the Rays 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th in the AL East matchup at Yankee Stadium. Poke foul. Still 2-2 to Ortiz.
Up and out over the plate, and Ortiz has shown through recent years that he'll just drop the barrel straight to it and hit the ball the other way. Running fastball up again.
Ortiz has 506 homers. He's 26th on the all-time list. Gary Sheffield next up for him. Runner takes off and he fouls it. Bogarts was on his way to third.
Take a look.
This is a 7-game season series between these two clubs. The Astros will play 4 in Boston May 12th through the 15th. Another foul ball keeps Ortiz alive at 2-2 still. Brian McCann hit his 3rd home run tonight off Matt Moore of Tampa Bay. Yankees leading it 4-3, bottom of the 7th inning. CC Sabathia did not make it through 5. He went 4 2/3, giving up 9 hits and 3 earned runs. Ortiz is down on strikes. Strikeout number 3. It's 1 run, 2 hits, 1 man left, middle of the 4th inning. Boston is having its way tonight, 5-0.
The Astros to the bottom of the fourth we go. Tonight's power player is brought to you by your local steel dealer. Jeff Bagwell is that power player, and he will be for a long time. This was his 300th career home run. Had 1,000 RBIs over a 10-year period. And you get a chance, and 1,000 runs, by the way, scored. But Jeff Bagwell joins a list with Hank Aaron, Joe DiMaggio, Frank Robinson, and Ted Williams to compile those numbers together. That's how good Jeff Bagwell was.
Strike one to Tyler White, and he's a native of Boston. He was drafted by Boston in the 4th round in '89. Traded to Houston for Larry Anderson in '90.
Just another look at that list, and look at the names. 300 home runs, 1,000 plus RBIs and runs in the first 10 seasons of his big league career. Bagwell, Aaron, DiMaggio, Robinson, and Williams. Phenomenal.
White hits a chop. Right. Turns it into out number 1. Julia.
Hey, Brownie. It's time to take a look at the Chevy Stro poll. Make sure you head over to the Root Sports SW Twitter page and check out the question and vote. And then we're going to tell you who it is later. Talking about great hitters of the game. And these are your choices: Ted Williams, Tony Gwynn, Pete Rose, and Ty Cobb. Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
Those are some greats, guys.
They really are. There's strike one to Evan Gattis, who struck out looking in the 2nd inning.
Do we have an E option there of other?
Oh, boy. Yeah, everybody has a favorite, right? Out toward right center field by Gattis. Mookie Betts, 2 outs. Carlos Gomez has one of the 2 Houston singles. It was a 1-out bunt single in the 2nd inning. The Oakland Athletics, who are 9-7, lead at Toronto 6-3. They're in the top of the 8th now. Athletics are really gaining a little steam here in the early going. They've won 5 in a row. Gomez takes ball 1.
5 in a row would come in rather handy right now for the Astros.
That would sound great to Houston with that 5-11 start for the Astros. 2-0. We did some checking today. The Texas Rangers started 2015 with a 6-11 record. The Astros are 5-11 right now.
And if I'm not mistaken, they came back to win that division, huh?
They did win that division, yes.
I wonder if they had to dust off some of the dirt that had been piled on them after the 6-11 mark.
They were not being held up as a division winner at that point. Smack to center field. Bradley backing. Bradley catches it. That was hit on the screws, but it's a 1-2-3-4 for Wright, and he leads it with the Red Sox in front 5-0.
broadcast is presented by authority of Houston Astros, LLC, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Houston Astros, LLC.
5-0 Red Sox to the fifth we go. Make memories at an Astros Sunday home game with family-friendly activities presented by Kroger. First family Sunday of the season is this Sunday's game against these Red Sox. For more information, visit astros.com/Sundays, or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
A.J. Hinch goes to the bullpen, brings in Chris Davinsky. In 4 games, he has a 1.08 ERA. Fine major league start for Chris Davinsky. Hanley Ramirez is waiting for him. He's 1 for 1 with a sac fly. Davinsky really has broken in with that outstanding changeup, with a fastball that's a little bit more in terms of velocity than what he threw as a starter, and a very aggressive approach at the hitters.
Yeah, I doubt that he can match that velocity as a starter if he gets that opportunity, but coming out of the bullpen, he's been 93 to 95 with the heater, and then the terrific changeup. So now we see 92.
Yeah. 1-1 for 25-year-old Chris Davinsky, who was drafted by the White Sox. The Astros got him in the Brett Myers trade in July of 2012. He's from Cerritos, California, went to Cal State Fullerton. That ball is fair inside the bag. Ramirez will head for second base. Colby Rasmus with a spin and a fire. Altuve has it waiting for him, and he's gunned down from 7 to 4 with a third outfield assist in the young season for Colby Rasmus.
Colby does a heck of a job, but so does Jose Altuve. Altuve able to come up with that short hop throw from the outfield that Valbuena couldn't earlier in the game. Watch the 360 and the strike. That little in between hop there can be tough to come up with. So very well done on both ends of this.
Now, Ramirez was not leaving the base, indicating to the Boston bench that he might want this reviewed.
Either that or he's got a really large lead right now.
May have been able to get there before the tag. John Farrelldale wants a review from this umpiring crew. Tony Randazzo is the umpire at second base who made that out call. But it appears Boston might have a pretty fair chance of getting it reversed.
Yeah, I was talking about this Altuve portion of the play. And with that that rather short hop coming into the bag, Altuve kind of caught a snow cone job, and while he was waiting for Ramirez to get to the bag, he adjusted the ball into the heart of the glove, and that kind of slowed down the tag mechanism. Does he get him or not? I don't know, that's really close, and I don't know if it's one that you can definitively say goes the other direction.
And difficult for the umpire there to see, because the tag was really partially obscured by the sliding runner Ramirez from Tony Randazzo.
Biggest thing you do as an infielder is make sure you throw that glove down and not reach toward the runner.
Rasmus really made a fine throw.
Watch what Altuve has to do. It's a shorter hop than you realize in watching the slow motion. See the adjustment in the glove, and then when does contact come with that tag? But I don't think Jose wanted to risk applying a tag with the little bit of a snow cone that he had.
The call is upheld on review.
Had a feeling that just wasn't enough to overturn there.
Well, Ramirez ruled out. Rasmus is credited with that outfield assist. It's out number 1. Travis Shaw will bat. Shaw is 1 for 2, a single to center in the 3rd inning. The infield plays Shaw to pull. He does pull up the right field line. It's hooking near the foul pole, and it is not a fair ball. It's a minute and 26 seconds on the review as the count goes to 0-1 on Shaw.
When these Red Sox hitters have been challenged in with fastballs this evening, they have gotten to it. 93 from Davinsky, and I would say this wasn't centered up by Shaw, but he's still got plenty to it.
0-2. Davinsky pitched 3 innings Tuesday night against the Texas Rangers in Arlington, allowing 2 hits and a run on a Mitch Moreland homer. 1-2 in his debut in the majors, April 8th at Milwaukee. He went 3 innings and did not give up a run, just 1 hit, no walks, and struck out 4. He struck out 7 in his first 2 relief outings to tie a club record. That one heads for the seats. Still 1-2 on Shaw. So Davinsky has really created something of a stir with his performance here. Astros starting pitchers when the night began had an ERA of 5.11. Upstairs, and it's 2-2.
Back up to 93. It's unusual with the way he falls so much toward the first base side with that delivery, and yet comes up with a great velocity. Usually guys that fall off like that don't throw overly hard.
Liner over Altuve for a hit into right field, and Shaw's aboard. His second hit of the night, number 12 for Boston.
Well, they come in swinging it well.
Davinsky looks in. He'll be facing Brock Holt next.
After being able to lay off the changeup, I couldn't tell. Maybe that was the change again, I guess. Stays back enough to hit it into right field. Very good hitting.
Sure looked like another change. Holt singled to left field to drive in a run. He looks at strike 1. Colin McHugh in 4 innings allowed 10 hits, 5 runs, walking 1, fanning 3. He threw 92 pitches, 62 for strikes. Washington leads 8-4 over Minnesota. They're in the bottom of the 8th. Davinsky, Correa, and White. Turn 2. A 1-6-3 double play. Second double play for the Astros tonight. Their 11th of the season. No runs, 2 hits, nobody left. 5-0 Boston.
Astros half of the 5th. Looking for games on certain days of the week with giveaways, big rivalries, or a little of each? The Astros 15-game flex plan lets you pick the games and the seat locations that work best for you. Grab your 15-game flex plan today by visiting astros.com/mini-plans or calling 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Boston leads 5-0. Here's the bottom of the 5th inning. Luis Valbuena batting. Moving back from ball 1 from Stephen Wright, who has been stingy through 4, allowing 2 singles and a walk. He has fan 4 tonight, and that was ball 1 to Valbuena, who struck out earlier. Big cut, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Or did you try to choke up on the bat when you faced a knuckleball pitcher? Did you swing full out? How did you handle it?
Well, some guys will try any and all things that are possible, but watching the first swing by Valbuena is probably the most difficult way to be successful, is to try to pull and lift something out of the ballpark. Going the other way, as Correa did in the first inning, in my assessment, is probably the best approach. And then if you get one that just kind of stays inside up and you can pull it naturally, let it happen. But I just don't think you want to attempt to pull and yank something.
And for a strike, 3-2.
We've seen a number of pitches in the strike zone called balls tonight, and we'll try to balance the slate.
Now Shaw moves over between first and second. Bogart stays on the left side of the infield, and Valbuena coaxes a walk. Second of the night from right. Eric Kratz struck out in the second inning. Wright converted to a knuckleballer to begin the 2011 season. In for a strike.
See that body movement from Kratz, where everything starts to move open early, and then as the ball dances coming toward you, you just don't wind up in a position to handle it.
Valbuena attracts a little attention. Clay Buchholz from Nederland, Texas, will pitch tomorrow here at 3:05 against Mike Fiers. There's Shaw, Pedroia, and Ramirez turning a double play. Number 14 of the year for Boston. So a rough night for Astros hitters, who last night came firing out of the gate with back-to-back doubles. Then they got the 2 home runs from Rasmus, but they lost at 7-4, collecting 7 hits. And now tonight they trail by 5 here with 2 outs and nobody on in the 5th inning. Altuve trying to get something started. He struck out looking, and he grounded out. That's strike 1.
That was a dance party right there. Jose had a good swing. Looked like trying to go back up the middle.
Oh, 2. Let's see. Hannigan indicating with that mid. He wanted that one low.
Watch the catcher's movements right here. Whoa.
Yeah.
The tracker would say that was a strike.
Broken bat liner caught by Bogarts, who hits the ground with it, and it's out number 3. No runs, no hits after 5. 5-0 Boston.
Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Toyota, let's go places. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, donating $100 for each Astros home run and $200 for each Correa home run to Houston Children's Charity.
5-0 the Red Sox lead it. They come up in the 6th inning. Ryan Hannigan leads it off. Chris Davinsky deals, and there's strike one. Hannigan hit a line drive to right field, looked like a hit. George Springer with a diving catch robbed him, and then he lined into a double play in the 3rd inning. Ryan was born in Washington, D.C. Takes upstairs, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. He went to Rollins College. Boston got him in a trade for Will Middlebrooks in December of 2014. Broken bat, looping single to left field. Hannigan joins the hit column, and now only David Ortiz among the Red Sox starters has not had a hit.
He breaks his bat on a changeup right here, but not a great location, as you can see. There's that changeup coming out of the last fingers of the right hand. Right on the handle. A nice parting gift to that piece of wood.
That's 13 hits now. Bradley has one of those, a double. Strike one of Jackie Bradley Jr. from Richmond, Virginia, and the University of South Carolina Gamecocks. He is one of those excellent defensive outfielders for the Red Sox. All 3 of their guys playing tonight can get it done well with the gloves. Foul tip, 0-2.
There you go, up to 94 for Davinsky. Got a good arm.
He mixed in his breaking stuff a little bit more last time out than he had been prior to that. Throws a curve, a slider, a change, and the fastball. That one's fouled away. 0-2. This is going to be a beautiful night for fireworks after the game.
It's in a batch of fireworks during the game for the Astros bats, and then you've got an evening.
Ooh, that would be a lot more enjoyable fireworks show for the folks who are here tonight. A strikeout of Bradley. First punch out for Davinsky. Number 4 for Houston pitching.
No question, that is the go-to pitch for Davinsky. That changeup will fool a lot of hitters.
Mookie Betts comes up, and he is 3 for 3. Triple, double, single with a shot at the cycle. Last time it was done was by Brock Holt last June against the Braves.
Take a look at those last 2 pitches to Jackie Bradley Jr. The high heat really runs it up and in on him, and then comes back with Mr. Filthy here, the change, and good location. Polished a lot of guys off with that sequence.
Gomez to right center. 2 outs. And Pedroia will bat next. The Cubs are leading 7-1 at Cincinnati. They're in the top of the 9th inning. Cubs fans should be elated by their club's start this year. 12-4. 8-2 on the road. And the no-hitter by Arrieta. Pedroia taking, looks at ball 1. He's 1 for 3 in RBI. Mets lead the Braves 5-2 in Atlanta. They're in the top of the 7th inning. Curtis Granderson had a grand slam. The Grandy man is grand tonight. 1 ball and 1 strike.
John Sterling should have been at the mic for that one.
He should have. Three different start times in this series. Day game tomorrow at 3:05. A 7:05 start Sunday night. Foul back, and the Astros will then head for Seattle for their first meeting of the year with the Mariners. Seattle is 7-8 to open the season under former catcher Scott Service, who was with the Astros, and he was running the Texas Rangers farm system for a while. And he hired his former Astros teammate Casey Candell to be his first base coach. Diving back in, Hannigan.
Just to make sure that nobody starts messing around on that club. Casey will throw the hammer.
Yeah, Casey will be the fun police. He had more fun than anybody on those Astros teams, didn't he? Poked to right field. Springer coming over, and it's a hit in front of him. So the Red Sox are doing some two-strike damage. Another looping hit. Pedroia's 2 for 4.
The Astros road ahead is brought to you by DeMontron. As we take a look at what's coming up. 2 more with the Red Sox. And Sunday, by the way, a night game. 3 in Seattle, a day off in between. Then 3 with the Oakland A's. Come back home to the Minnesota Twins, and those Mariners do make their first foray into Houston for the season. So a lot of good baseball coming up.
Now that long homestand begins with that Twins series, May 2nd. There's another team on the end of that. You can just see the games from the 2nd through the 8th. But the Astros will also play, I believe it's Cleveland. Yes, Cleveland will be in after that Seattle series. Xander Bogaerts is 2 for 3. An RBI double. There's strike 1. Just checking on that Mets score, 6-2. The Mets leading at Atlanta. And Granderson, we mentioned, had a grand slam. He also hit a second home run in that game. And both of them came off Bud Norris. The Mets are 7-7. They're in second place with Washington leading the NL East. Bogaerts was out in front of the changeup and falls behind 0-2.
I don't think there's a major league hitter that'll tell you they see that change coming out of the hand of Davinsky.
He does a good job of selling it, doesn't he, with that motion?
Grip you can trust. Throw it as hard as you can.
Now ball third. Valbuena backs up to get the hop. Goes to Altuve for the force play at second on Pedroia. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. Middle of the 6th inning. 5-0 Boston.
Nothing. Red Sox lead the Astros, and we have a winner in our Chevy Stroh poll. Thank you all for voting. Hashtag Stroh poll. Today's question: who's the greatest hitter of all time? Teddy Ballgame takes it, 40%. What do you guys think of that? And how many lobster rolls have you eaten?
About 40. I was thinking of the 40%.
Which question were you answering there? Yeah.
That's 40%. Okay. But the answer would still be about 40, wouldn't it, Ash?
Yeah, it might be. You know what? As great as Ted Williams and a whole lot of names you could throw out there might be, I might have to go Babe Ruth on that one. Hard to say.
Yeah. There's a line shot by Springer for a hit into left field. He's now 1 for 3. Third hit for the Astros tonight. That gets it going in the home sixth as they trail by 5. Lined out to center last time, Bob.
Well, you could get some pretty good arguments, discussions anyway, on the who's the greatest hitter theme. Watch George take that knuckleball and just drill it into left. One of the few hard hit balls against that pitch.
He's aboard for Correa, who's been on both times. Single to right and a walk. Colby Rasmus is on deck. Astros have been out hit 14-3. Tony Sips in the Houston bullpen. This one gets by Hannigan. Springer moving easily to second base.
Ronnie, I think we would all agree. You look for silver linings even in a bad storm, and I would say that silver lining for me recently has been George Springer and swinging the bat well. As this knuckleball just gets out of control and starts darting away from the catcher.
That's ruled a wild pitch. Correa takes it. It's a strike, and it's 1-1. The Astros had a catcher, Jared Goff, who had 6 pass balls in a game one time in Montreal with Mike Hampton starting.
It's all fine for Jerry Goff. His son's getting ready to be the #1 pick in the NFL draft.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
Nice.
Jared Goff out of Cal.
Okay. I know that was his son. Tony Sipp warming up. Counts 2-1. Yeah, they're probably not too worried about that game in the Goff family right now.
Yeah, I don't think they recall that one.
Springer takes off. Here's the throw, and wow, did he take a chance, and they got him. Oh, boy. The base running adventures of the Astros continue.
Well, if you live by the sword, you die by it sometimes, and the Astros have stolen a bunch of bases, but they've been caught more than anybody else. I don't know that they were caught right here.
No. That looked like he got in there.
Yeah, is the hand on the bag?
Can't tell.
It is hard to tell, isn't it?
Yep. From that angle, we couldn't tell.
It could turn out to be another play like the last review we saw, where just not enough to overturn it.
Now that looks favorable for the Astros.
It does, but was the glove on the body? It's
couldn't see it.
Either way, it's hard to tell.
Well, the fans are cheering the replay up on the big board. Hannigan made a strong throw.
He did. He came firing out on that one.
Shaw with a tag. Springer is 1 for 3 in base stealing. Down by 5 runs, stealing third. You've got to know you can make it.
Okay, these are synced up right here. Let's see if we can make the determining call. Ooh. You know what? If I was, that's just really tough. Is the glove on the screen on the right?
Yeah, I couldn't tell.
Touching the body, it's just hard to tell.
And Bellino made the out call. If it stands as an out, it would be a very costly one for Houston.
Yeah, and I hear you with the 5-0 talk. And is Springer thinking, well, maybe I can help us get that first run on the board,
right,
and start pecking away here and cutting into the Boston lead.
Try to make something happen. He didn't appear to have a very big lead, though, off second base, Ash.
He's got that gifted speed, and sometimes that gets relied upon. So, boy, I don't know, your guess is as good as mine as to what they do with this, but I'm not sure they overturn.
Astros with 15 steals lead the American League. They've been caught 6 times. Tom Halley, the crew chief, is facing the camera in this shot. And Dan Bellino, the third base umpire, with his back to the camera, made the call. Being reviewed now in New York.
It's obvious they're trying to give their best look at it from New York.
The out call stands. That's a long walk back to the bench for George Springer.
And again, I think that's 2 consecutive review situations where there just wasn't enough definitive to overturn the call.
The count now is 2-2 on Correa. Stephen Wright's base runner is erased after a 2-minute 17-second review. And of course, a single to right field follows. That's Murphy's Law in baseball. After a caught stealing, the next guy gets a hit, right?
Really amazing. Hannigan loved the call down at third base. AJ, you know, and I imagine AJ felt from what he saw up on the big board that he should have gotten the reversal on that call.
Colby Rasmus has fly to center and grounded to first. Colby's donating $1,000 for every home run he hits this year to a veterans cause.
Got a chance of giving away a lot of money.
He sure does. That's ball 1. Very nice, and he made an eloquent statement in the media when he was interviewed today as to why he chose that. He said, well, they've been fighting for our freedoms, and I just wanted to help them out. 2 balls, no strikes. It's a charity where veterans are assisting other people by going to work in times like this with the flooding around Houston. The bat gets away from him, flies into the seats. About 10 rows up. 2-1.
Everybody would like to get a player's bat, but not this way. And I think everybody's okay, but I'd have taken a little beating on the legs there, possibly. Hope that's all.
Yeah. That might be a top distance in Minute Maid Park so far, traveled by a bat that got away from a hitter. 2 balls and a strike. Out to left field. Holt is back, making the catch right in front of the wall. 2 down.
Tough wall, but if any visiting team can deal with it, you would think it would be the Boston Red Sox. Very similar to the Green Monster.
Rasmus is retired for the 3rd time tonight. That is a good approach, though, for a left-handed hitter in this ballpark.
You bet it is. You bet it is.
Pretty good chance he can bang one off that wall. And he almost did, but Holt was there. White is the batter. He's grounded out both times. Ball 1. Rockies lead the Dodgers 4-3. They're in the top of the 5th in Colorado. Corey Seager hit a home run. It's 2-0.
Tyler White's body and head are going all over the place on this knuckleball.
Two and 1. How does the hitter gauge where that pitch is going to wind up?
So different from any other pitch. Hence the reason a lot of hitters we were talking about just don't want to face the knuckleball at all.
Tough to square it up. And that's why you see a lot of slowly hit grounders, pop-ups, balls that are not really hit on the barrel of the bat very well. 2-2. Scott Kazmir is on the mound for the Dodgers tonight in Colorado, trailing 4-3. A strikeout for Wright gets him through 6. No runs, 2 hits, and a man left. Strikeout number 5 for Wright keeps the Astros scoreless and trailing 5-0 after 6.
Astros trailing the Red Sox 5-0. It's time to name that Astro. This is brought to you by your local Honda dealer. We've got some clues for you. Played for 8 different teams. He led both National League and American League in WHIP. Nickname is the opposite of life. Oh, wow. Tweet at us. I'll tell you who it is a little bit later.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he had an advanced degree.
What?
Unofficially, well, more later. But first of all, back to business. Tony Sipp is the pitcher, and David Ortiz is 0-for-7 lifetime against Sipp.
You and Julia have your own language or something going on there?
No, we'll explain. Ortiz is 0-for-2 with a walk. He was a teammate of yours, Ash. There's strike 1.
E-Phil?
No.
Opposite of life, huh?
Tony Sipp has a 5.40 ERA. Yeah, right-handed pitcher.
Oh, okay.
What a play by White. He stumbles, tosses, and gets him. 3-1 as Sipp takes the toss.
I think he had a doctorate that he picked up somewhere, right?
Yes. His nickname was Dr. Blank.
Okay, gotcha. Wasn't Dr. Phil either, by the way.
It was not Dr. Phil.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. On the red carpet.
Yeah, he righted the ship after stumbling here.
Yes, he did. Sticking with it right there.
Pretty good after regaining his balance to make that play. Hanley Ramirez 2-for-2 with a sac fly. Fouls it back. Yeah, the opposite of life. That is a very interesting clue. This guy was one of Nolan Ryan's favorites, wasn't he?
They were good buds, no question about it.
Saw Nolan here tonight. Craig Biggio was here last homestand. No balls, 2 strikes.
I had a chance to chat with Nolan a good while this evening. Everybody trying to figure out how to solve this whole scenario going on.
Yeah, it hasn't been just the pitching. The ERA is high, but different phases of the game have come back to bite the Astros at different times. Baseball can be so simple and yet so complex at the same time, right?
Finding those answers really tough. Well, sometimes, as I say that, you know the answers, but making the answers the way you know it should be happen on the field, another story.
Right. Well, we talked earlier, much earlier when we first came on the air, about some players who are far below their norms offensively. And you can say that about some pitchers as well on this club. We're 10% into the season. Swing and a miss. It's out number 2.
As we watch that strikeout finish out, create memories, and have fun with your employees, clients, or on a special occasion with Astros Luxury Suites. Call the Astros Premium Ticket Line at 1-877-9-ASTROS and reserve your luxury suite today.
Hanley Ramirez had a chance to run to first because the ball wasn't caught cleanly, but he gave up his opportunity by walking back to the dugout. But he came alive about 5 steps out of the batter's box and faked a mad dash. Travis Shaw's 2 for 3. There's ball 1. So you have it narrowed down as to why this club is 5-11.
I mean, statistically, you can look at some stats that overlap poorly for the club. And do you think the talent's here to change those numbers? You have to. But you got to get it done, and that's what everybody's pulling together trying to make happen.
Well, in 2005, the Astros were 15-30 to start the season. And they wound up in the World Series. More of a veteran club, certainly. Guys with great credentials. 2-1.
Well, there were a couple of clubs back in the early 2000s that got into August in a bad spot and somehow turned it around for the Astros. And so, you know, don't give up early.
But the point being, if you have established players who are far below their norms, 10% into the season, that is not a time to create havoc by making a lot of changes, right?
Yeah, we're talking about 4 guys at the bottom of the order for the Astros that have their numbers way below the norm for their careers. And it's not like we're talking about 39-year-olds who are not likely to come back and perform again. So
true. Yeah, that's different if they're that old. But A.J. Hinch has been, of course, giving these players multiple opportunities to turn things around. Sepp feels the comebacker and tosses him out. He has a 1-2-3 7th inning, 5-0 Boston.
of the 7th at Minute Maid Park. It's 5-0 Red Sox. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices with MLB Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. MLB Premium now includes a free subscription to AtBat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Guys?
Thanks, Julia. Fans have risen for their 7th inning stretch. Some of them now armed with some Cracker Jacks, peanuts, popcorn, whatever. It's 5-0 Boston. Evan Gattis is 0 for 2 as the Astros bat in the home 7th. Almost nipped by that one up and in, ball 1. The Astros have not been shut out this season. Stephen Wright going for his first win, pitching well. Almost hit him again. 2-0. Wright has had control of that knuckleball tonight. He has doled out just 4 singles. Will Harris is warming up for Houston. Now 3-0, and Wright, even though he throws the knuckleball about 83% of the time this year, could slip in a fastball with a 5-run lead if he wanted to. Try to mix it up 3rd time through the order here.
He's had the straight one. I refuse to call it fastball, but there it is. And some little breaking balls, curveballs that he's thrown when he needs to.
Gattis with the fly ball back into the seats, stays alive.
Well, when you have the opportunity on a 3-0, then 3-1, especially to get that fastball and swing at it at 81, you just don't want to foul it off.
No. But those folks are glad he did. Washington down Minnesota 8-4. Kyle Gibson was the loser.
It's a gorgeous yard here, by the way.
Still alive at 3-2 with Hannigan unable to hold that foul ball. It is a gorgeous yard. Always nice to come back to this ballpark. Jason Worth hit his 3rd home run for the Nationals tonight. Gio Gonzalez was the winner. There's a walk to Gattis. That's the 3rd walk. 2 of them have come leading off innings. And the Astros have had the leadoff man on in the last 3 innings. Carlos Gomez with 1 out bunted his way on in the 2nd inning. He lined out to center in the 4th. Gomez coming into this game was hitting 152 on off-speed pitches. And strike 1.
Maybe trying to do a bit too much with it.
Valbuena's on deck. Pop back. Hannigan comes over, but it's out of play, and it's 0-2.
That's probably not the ideal head position, eyes on baseball part of the swing.
Some guys will tell you after facing a knuckleballer, they're messed up for about 10 days.
Hey, you hear the turns you inside out kind of stuff, and it will.
Diving play, Bogaerts with the flip, Pedroia wide throw, but that is spectacular up the middle by Xander Bogaerts to force Gattis for out number 1.
Yeah, this guy's really good, and he swings the bat. So the Astros are not the only team with a young, gifted shortstop at their employ right now. See a much better swing on this knuckleball by Carlos Gomez. There's the head down on the baseball.
He has hit a couple balls hard tonight. Now there's time called. On a visit to the mound, Stephen Wright's getting close to 100 pitches. Pedroia's throw was wide. Hanley Ramirez coming off the bag.
I'm sorry, I have to chuckle. Getting close to 100 pitches with the knuckleball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can survive. I'm good for a few more.
Yeah, leave me in.
Wilbur Wood. believe, pitched both ends of a doubleheader one day.
Yes, sir.
Former left-handed knuckleballer with the Chicago White Sox. Many moons ago, but
but he was an Iron Man, wasn't he? Piled up a lot of innings. It's an excellent night for Stephen Wright, going for his first victory of the season. Carl Willis, the pitching coach, came out. Lefty Tommy Lane, right-hander Heath Hembry in the bullpen. Valbuena bats. Valbuena is 0 for 1 with a walk. He struck out his first time up. And that's ball 1. Yankees beat Tampa Bay 6-3. Ivan Nova won it in relief of CC Sabathia. Andrew Miller got his 4th save. It's 2-0. Now Hanley Ramirez is coming over. Okay. He wanted to dry off his right hand. Went to the rosin bag.
got nothing to say, big guy, but can I borrow some of your rosin?
J.O. Cruz signed that jersey.
Good.
One of the all-time greats for the Astros.
Could really hit.
Two balls and strikes.
He was one of those guys, Brownie, that just loved playing the game. Came out with just a great time going on every day he came to the ballpark.
Yeah, it's good that he makes a lot of trips to Minute Maid Park. It's great with the fans. Bunted, and that's going to go foul. The infielders just shifted around. The third baseman, Shaw, moving over between first and second. That leaves only Bogarts between second and third.
You know, down 5-0 here in the 7th inning. I think that's a really good choice. Don't try to make it so perfect is the only thing.
Yeah. This is a night to be enjoyed, and those folks look like they're doing exactly that. Hannigan was weird on that one. He was moving his body to the left, but then he reached back to the right.
Yeah, that may have been a strike. Look, Hannigan's got to do what he's got to do to catch the pitch. Umpire's got to just stay in there and not worry about what the catcher does.
Fouled away by Valbuena. Sonny Gray won for Oakland 8-5 at Toronto. The Athletics are now 10-7. Gray is 3-1 with a 2.73 ERA. And Ryan Madsen got his 7th save already. Still a lot of time left in April, and he has 7. Chopped slowly up the first base line. That is a foul ball. Wright came over and got to it, but not in time to make the fair ball, and it's still 3-2.
Hanley Ramirez is still standing there like, hey, I called that ball.
Yeah, Wright dashed right in front of him.
Yeah, Wright came with the attitude of, let's get this ball as quickly as we possibly can, and maybe it's a fair ball. Hanley kind of lays back a little too much for Wright's likes.
26,672 the paid attendance.
What are you doing? I called that ball.
Yeah. All right. Showed a lot of hustle there. That's ball 4. Valbuena coaxes the 4th walk of the night from Stephen Wright. First and second. And Eric Kratz is being called back now for a pinch hitter. It's going to be Marwin Gonzalez. The Astros are running out of opportunities, trailing by 5, and they'll go to the bench now.
Of course, Marwin's a switch hitter, but how is he going to go about this at bat? A lot of switch hitters have stayed on the right side against righty knuckleball pitchers, and it looks like that may be the choice of Marwin Gonzalez.
Interesting. Yeah, he's got about right-handed, actually. You're right.
And he employs, for me, much more of a natural power stroke from this side. Well, the Astros could use one of those big swings.
Marwin is hitting .192. He has no homers, 1 RBI. He's had 26 at-bats. As a pinch hitter, he's 2 for 4. Batting right-handed, .273. Left-handed, .133, but only 11 at-bats as a right-handed batter, 15 left-handed. So now The Astros hope to get a big lift from their bench with Altuve on deck. Eric Kratz was 0 for 2. Jason Castro will be, well, you see Gaddis with the shin guards on there. No strike one to Gonzalez. But if Gaddis goes behind the plate, they lose the DH. Fly ball, left field line. It's going back toward the seats and does reach those seats. 0-2.
Good trajectory, but Knuckler got on the hands of Gonzalez a little bit.
Cleveland down Detroit in Detroit 2-1. Josh Tomlin goes to 2-0 with a 1.54 ERA. He beats Justin Verlander. With Cody Allen getting the save. One ball, two strikes.
Ron Hannigan is going to sleep just fine tonight.
That must be, you know, the contortions that he's been going through tonight. Look at this.
Called him a goalie earlier, and it's really quite true. He's done a heck of a job.
It's got to be about like trying to catch a butterfly with tweezers.
I've heard that line, and it's a good one. It's very apt.
Pick off at second. Gomez back.
Or are you just making stuff up right now?
Well, but that line, yeah, it's been out there for a few decades, hasn't it? Is that a Bob Uecker line?
I doubt that Bob gets credit for that one. It could be Stephen Wright.
Ooh.
A Stephen Wright-ism.
Foul ball, 1-2. But really, now after Hannigan catches a game like this, what's he going to feel like tomorrow?
It'll be all about the W and the L in that category. You go out and battle it like this and help your team win a ball game. Pretty proud of it.
He might have made more diving attempts to catch pitches than we've seen a catcher make in a long time.
Maybe more than any infielder we've seen this season.
Yes.
Yeah, his range factor is way up there.
Astros 5 for 19 as a team, pinch hitting this year. And foul back with a good cut.
As a framer, he is sadly lacking.
The Cubs have down Cincinnati 8-1. John Lester going to 2-1 with a 1.98 ERA. That was Tim McCarver's line about butterfly.
Oh.
Gonzalez strikes out. Number 6.
Yeah, he just got faced with a really good one right here. Watch this come out. Still a little bit of rotation on it. That takes a lot of the mad dash kind of movement off of it, but still enough.
So all credit to Tim McCarver for that line.
Yeah, Tim had it, huh?
Yeah. Catching a butterfly with tweezers. Altuve is 0 for 3.
And with these bigger catcher's gloves, the tweezers have gotten larger, but it doesn't make it any easier.
Let's see. Barney Schultz was a Cardinal knuckleball pitcher, right?
Yeah.
That's one off the mitt of Hannigan will allow the runners to move along to second and third.
Just a knock right here. Put a couple on the board. Yeah, you'll lead the league in pass balls, and a lot of stuff will go on for you, but It's a very different game when you're catching that knuckler.
That is pass ball number 2 of the night. Oh, Hannigan. Altuve moves back, and it's 2-0.
Remember I said that one that moves to the catcher's left is really the tough one, and he just somehow came up with that. But you see the look on the face. That'll just, it's worse than a bad scare movie, that's for sure.
Willie Stargell said the knuckleball is like a butterfly with hiccups.
I've never seen that. I can't relate.
This one gets by. Gomez coming home. The throw to the plate. He's safe. And it was close. Hannigan did an outstanding job of putting that throw right on the plate for Stephen Wright, but the Astros get a run, and they trail 5-1 with a runner at third.
Boy, it is max effort right here, just trying to get on the board. And you know, if you get thrown out on that play, you get a lot of fault heaped at you. What's the matter? Why so many bad decisions? But that one turns out to be a good one as you do get on the board.
That's another pass ball for Hannigan. His third of the night. And Altuve swings through that one. 2-2. Valbuena at third now on the pass ball. And 2. The Astros have been out hit 14-4 in this game. Last night they were out hit 14-7 in a 7-4 loss at Texas. And yet they made it interesting when Rasmus hit a 2-run homer in the 8th. Springer's on deck. Altuve walks, and Springer will die with 2 men on. The 5th walk for Wright. 3 of them in this inning, and that's going to be it. John Farrell's on his way. But nonetheless, he got just an outstanding game from Stephen Wright, who will leave with a chance to get his first win of the year. So as Wright departs, the Astros will have Springer at the plate when we come back. 5-1 Boston.
The 7th, Astros trailing 5-1. The fans have spoken. It's time to name that Astro, brought to you by your local Honda dealer. Nicknamed the opposite of life. Who is he? Is it Danny Darwin? Is he from Bonham, Texas?
Yes, he is. Yep.
I know where that is.
Ever been through Bonham?
I have. Good job to Twitter. They were all over it.
Yeah, they were. Julia, I read out there that maybe it was an even better question until those of us in the booth might have given that away on you. But good question tonight, and good to see Danny brought up.
Now the Boston bullpen comes into play. Heath Hembree, a right-hander, and to face George Springer. Springer's 1 for 3. Runners at first and third. He was called up Tuesday from AAA Pawtucket. Last year in 22 appearances with the Red Sox, he helped their bullpen after coming from the Giants in the Jake Peavy trade. Last year he was 2-0 with a 3.55 ERA, working 25 innings. He's from Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Happiest guy in the ballpark, Ryan Hannigan.
Yeah. He got to change mitts and catch a conventional pitcher who throws strike 1.
Look at that. I framed it nicely.
Hembree came in the first inning relieving the injured Joe Kelly Tuesday for that season debut. 3 1/3 scoreless innings. Springer fouls it. No balls, 2 strikes. This Boston bullpen is 1-1, lost 5 with a 3.70 ERA, 4 saves and 5 opportunities, and they are encouraged that this inning now has continued after a run scored with Springer at the plate and Correa on deck. Springer checked his swing. 1-2. Tom Hallian with a call.
Well, that bat gets out there quite a ways. What George does really well is he throws his hands out forward, and it certainly gives the impression that the barrel stays behind.
Springer facing a pitcher in Hembree who came to the big leagues with the Giants in 2013 before being dealt in that Jake Peavy trade. Taps it foul. With Kimbrel, the Red Sox have one of the hardest throwers around as their closer.
There's Stephen Wright, who said curiosity killed the cat, but for a while I was a suspect. Well, maybe it wasn't that Stephen Wright.
No.
Let me recheck.
That was Larry Anderson's buddy. I used to quote him all the time. Strike 3 call. Springer jumping up and down after the Adam Hamari call to end the 7th inning. That's the 7th strikeout for Red Sox pitching. They lead it 5-1.
Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Jack in the Box. Taste the Jumbolicious Jumbo Meal before it's gone. Only at Jack in the Box.
It's 5-1 Boston, and an edge in hits. 14-4 for the Red Sox. They'll be batting in the 8th against right-handed reliever Will Harris. Tony Sipp had a 1-2-3 7th, including a strikeout. Harris with that whip below 1, 0.86, has done well against lefties, 250, but he did a lot better against them last year. And now he will face the lefty hitting Brock Holt, who's 1 for 3 with an RBI single in the 3rd. Infield shifts around, and there's strike 1. Chris Davinsky worked 2 scoreless innings. He allowed 4 hits and had a strikeout. So the Astros have gotten 3 innings of scoreless relief after Colin McHugh left. He went 4, giving up 10 hits and 5 runs. Chopped up the line at first for White. And the quick toss. He got rid of that one right away. 1 out.
Tyler White apparently intends to lead this league's first baseman in assists. Holt went up the line well.
Yeah, that's his 3rd 3-1 play tonight, getting an assist. And yeah, he knew about Holt, so he didn't linger in making this toss, Ash.
Yeah, one thing you want to do as the first baseman on that type of play is keep coming. And so you give yourself a chance in the event the pitcher doesn't get over in time.
Ryan Hannigan is 1 for 3. In for strike 1. Jackie Bradley Jr. is on deck. The Red Sox batting here in the 8th inning. They're trying to square their record for the season at 8-8. That chop goes foul. 0-2. There's a rain delay in Atlanta. The Mets are up 6-3 in the middle of the 8th inning. Stephen Wright in 6 2/3 innings allowed 4 hits, 1 run, had 5 walks rather, and 6 strikeouts. He threw 116 pitches tonight, 72 for strikes. In the dirt from ball 1.
Come on, Will. Come on, Will.
Jason Castro went in to do the catching. After Marwin Gonzalez pinch hit for Eric Kratz in the last inning. 2-2. Milwaukee's batting in the bottom of the 9th with the Phillies up 5-2 on the Brewers. Aaron Nola had a good start for the Phillies. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. Off the plate, White, the pitcher late to break. Toss behind him, but Harris gets there. 2 outs.
Yeah, that's legit, and that's one where Harris almost didn't commit to covering at the bag. But a nice feed anyway, enabling Harris to make that play. Watch a little lack of commitment right there, yeah. The only thing I can assume is that Harris thought this was going to be Altuve's play.
Right.
Don't ever make that assumption.
Yeah. Pitcher's taught to head over that direction once that ball goes to the right side. Bradley is 1 for 3. He doubled and scored in the 2nd inning. On the foul ball, it's strike 1. This is the first of 3 games in this weekend series, and then both clubs will be headed out of town. Mike Fiers and Clay Buchholz square off tomorrow at 3:05. Buchholz 3-0 lifetime against the Astros. He has a 1.38 ERA lifetime against Houston. 0-2. If you look at all these Boston players and what they've done against Houston, you'd be surprised they would ever lose a game to the Astros. So Fiers will try to get in the win column tomorrow at 3:05.
Yeah, you're right, Brownie. It's a pretty serious set of stat lines for most of the guys. Stephen Wright is adding to that.
It's like back in the 60s when the Yankees would play the Kansas City A's.
You mean their farm club?
That's what everybody called them. And not only that, but they compounded the difficulty by trading or selling some of their best players to New York. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Including Roger Maris.
Yeah.
Or did it go the other way there? I'm trying to remember now.
Yeah, Maris went to, Kansas City to New York. But Red Sox really have not done that well as a team lately against the Astros. Lately, although the Astros were dominated for years by Boston, they've turned it around, swept them here last year. Bradley strikes out. It's a 1-2-3 8th inning, 5-1 Red Sox.
Houston Methodist brings us our league leaders. And we look at what teams have done in games decided by 2 runs or fewer. The Toronto Blue Jays have had the most of those, 14. The Astros right behind at 11, tied with the Royals. But the Royals, for example, doing very well in the close games. The Astros have flipped that number around. And you see the teams, Jays, Astros, Royals, Twins, Athletics, involved in a lot of close games in the early goings.
Astros 5-4 when they allow 4 or fewer runs, 0-7 when they allow 5 or more. Carlos Correa has been on all 3 times, 2 singles and a walk. Heath Hembree dealing, ball 1. Stephen Wright went the first 6 2/3, and then with a couple of men on base left the game. Hembree struck out George Springer looking to end that threat when the Astros got a run on no hits in the 7th. 1-1. Got a text from our good friend Carl Warwick about that Barney Schultz situation with St. Louis. Barney, the knuckleballer, started the game with Tim McCarver. McCarver was worn out after 3 innings, and they pulled him out of the game.
Pulled Tim McCarver out of the game?
Yeah, they didn't pull the pitcher. They pulled the catcher. And then Bob Uecker came in, and he did a great job, and they won the game.
No wonder Uecker had a complex.
So Uecker was the relief catcher that night, and he closed the door on him.
Oh, that's nice.
That was the first time McCarver had caught the knuckleball. 2-2. Koji Uehara is warming up in the bullpen for Boston. Rasmus on deck, and then White due up 3rd. And smacked into the seats. Carlos Correa got to the ballpark early today. He was walking into the clubhouse likely after 1 o'clock. He does a lot of working out before games. I believe he might have cut back a little bit on that.
Just took another nice right field stroke.
Yes. Yeah, he can wait a fraction of a second longer than some and still hit the ball hard to the opposite field.
That opening series in New York versus the Yankees, just impressive stuff put on by Carlos. Right field home run, center field, he could yank them. Just want to see everything kind of come back in order for Carlos. There is not a doubter on the field, any team you talk to, about the abilities of this young man.
Each club has left 7 men on base. Strike 3 call, 1 out.
That inside edge, when spotted well, can really freeze hitters. And watch this effort. Everything else away other than one pitch. That isn't even inside corner, just hitting the knees. You don't want to take that one.
Hannigan out to talk it over with Hembree before facing Rasmus. Rasmus is 0 for 3. We're told on Twitter by someone who's being helpful that Clay Buchholz is from Lumberton, not Nederland. Well, the media guide says he was born in Nederland. So there's apparently a fight over exactly where his birth occurred. Rasmus takes ball 1.
A little arm wrestling match coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, they're fighting to claim Clay Buchholz, and he went to Lumberton High School. We do have that
over on Wolverton Mountain
somewhere. Remember that song, Wolverton Mountain?
I thought that might ring a bell for you.
Yeah, unlike some other recent music that I knew nothing about.
You got faced with a symbol yesterday that was a little too much for you.
That symbol was devastating. Yeah. But fortunately, we have a lot of knowledgeable people out there who can set us straight, right, when it comes to popular music.
You know that's true. I actually had one of those same scenarios. I was born in a hospital in an adjacent city, but there you go. What is that, Brownie?
Oh, that's Prince. The artist formerly known as Prince had that symbol. A lot of great tributes to Prince today on the air and in the publications. And for a strike. 2-2. I've been learning all about Prince from you guys today, Ash.
I heard you humming some of the tunes.
Yeah.
I imagine you knew more of his music than you're aware of.
Well, you could be right. You know, now, for instance, if you listen to elevator music your whole life, you would have no idea where that music came from.
I try not to hang out there.
Do they even have elevator music anymore?
Honestly, I don't think so.
I don't think they do.
Great question.
That era has gone south.
Let's go back.
It just sounded like Jerry Seinfeld in the episode where he had reserved a car he was going to rent. The car wasn't waiting for him, and the person said they knew what the concept was, and he said, I don't think you do.
You know, you talk about cars and renting, and Rick Sutcliffe had a great story on one of the broadcast shows this winter about Cal Ripken Jr. Sutcliffe was with the Orioles, and Cal Ripken Jr. used to stay in a different hotel from the rest of the ball club. So the traveling secretary would line up a private car to meet him at the airplane. The other players would get on the buses, he'd get in the car, and he'd go to his hotel, and they'd go to theirs. That will be a high foul ball. And so Sutcliffe said, well, a couple of us decided one time we were going to shake things up a little bit. So he said Cal would always wait on the bus. You know, he wouldn't get off with everybody else. He'd wait until everyone had departed, and then he would go get in his car. He said, well, a couple of us decided we'll go ahead and get in that car. Tell them we're Cal Ripken Jr. and take off in it.
Who would know? I mean.
And they did.
They'd leave before Cal could get there?
Yeah, he was left high and dry.
Nice.
Struck him out. That's 3 in a row for Hembree. Tyler White is next. White is 0 for 3.
Yeah, there's nothing like loving teammates.
Is there a practical joker on just about any team you've ever been on?
I would say yes, probably more than one.
Tyler White has grounded out twice and struck out tonight. Ooh, that one slipped on Hembree. Up around the batting helmet for ball 1. Who was the practical joker on that 86 club?
The 86 club.
Charlie Kerfeld?
Charlie would have been viewed that way. Charlie was clearly a prankster and a guy who liked to have a lot of fun. Probably Larry Anderson would be the guy I would turn to.
Yeah, Andy.
That was a big swing.
Yeah, wasn't it? You know, Andy used to. You were talking about Stephen Wright lines earlier. The other Stephen Wright. He used to come out with those in his media sessions. So why is it that you park on a driveway and drive on a parkway?
That's right.
That was a Stephen Wright-ism, right?
Why would you want everything? You wouldn't have any place to put it.
2 balls and a strike. Yeah, he was a beauty. A lot of fun to be around. And then he would have those dollar bills. What were they? $20 bills.
Pull them with the threads in the airport in front of people.
Yeah, people would bend over to pick up the $20 bill, and he'd yank that string and pull it away from them.
It was kind of high society humor going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very subtle.
Yeah.
3 balls and a strike.
And Larry used to try to drop that Stephen Wright humor stuff on us like nobody had ever heard the stuff, but it was still funny.
Strike 2. Full count.
Larry would deadpan that stuff just like Stephen Wright.
Yeah. Evan Gattis is on deck. The Astros with 2 outs, nobody on in the 8th, trailing by 4. They've really struggled for base runners. They've received 5 walks. All 4 of their hits have been singles. And that is ball 4. That bounced well out in front of the plate. That's the 6th walk for Boston pitching tonight. Evan Gattis follows. He's 0 for 2 with a walk.
When is that big swing coming?
Well, he might be relieved that he doesn't have to try to hit the knuckleball anymore tonight. Now he can gear up for Hembree. Maybe get a 93-mile-per-hour fastball right in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, this is the guy that led the club in home runs and RBIs a year ago.
He had a terribly slow start to the season last year.
I don't remember what the numbers were, but I want to say like 1 for 28, something that was really tough to overcome.
Yeah, he started 0 for 23. Not sure if it was 1 for 28, but it might have been. Off the end of the bat to shallow right field. Mookie Betts with the catch to end the 8th inning. No runs, no hits, and a man left. We move to the 9th. 5-1 Boston.
The Astros as we go to the 9th inning. Our delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's. What do we have in store here? The Red Sox hitting in the 6th inning. And the hit from Hanley Ramirez, but there came the Astros left fielder to make a play. Colby Rasmus puts it on a hop. Jose Altuve comes up with it. They actually asked for a review on this play, and the Astros won out in the end, but heck of a play by Colby, picking up the early assists on the year.
Now he's in left field as Mookie Betts comes up to open the 9th. Betts has a shot at the cycle. He has a triple, a double, a single, and then a fly ball to center field. Luke Gregerson's in the game, pitcher number 5 for the Astros. The closer coming in and dealing strike 1. Will Harris had a 1-2-3 8th inning after a 1-2-3 7th by Tony Sipp. An ERA of 0 in 5 games for Luke, 4 for 4 in saves. No balls, 2 strikes. Luke last pitched here against Detroit 5 days ago. And he got save number 4. Line into right center field. That'll scoot past George Springer. Another extra base hit for Betts. Looks like a triple for Betts. He is roaring around second, gliding into third. 2 triples, a double, a single, and a 4-hit game for Mookie Betts.
Big smile on his face, and what an easy looking at bat. Just looked like he took a shot this way. Watch him approach the fastball away. Just does what you want to do with that. Big gap on the right side and finds the gap in the outfield as well.
The infielders are in for Dustin Pedroia, and there's ball 1.
Toughest thing on that play for Betts was keeping his helmet on.
He runs so smoothly. Very sleek looking player. Pedroia drove in a run with a first inning single, and he singled again in the 6th. Smacks one to Correa, who checks the runner Betts. There's 1 out. Pedroia hit it hard. He couldn't find a hole. And Bogaerts will be next. Bogaerts has a single and an RBI double tonight. The Astros bullpen has not allowed a run. This is the 5th inning of relief for the Astros. Chris Davinsky went 2 single innings for Sipp and Harris. Starter Colin McHugh giving up 10 hits and 5 runs in 4 innings. Slider is good for strike 1.
That was really not the best swing a Red Sox hitter has taken tonight.
No. Or was it even a swing? Well, technically, yes, it was. He was fooled, though. He chased that one 0-2. He doesn't seem to be able to pick up that slider out of Gregerson's hand.
I don't think I'd change that slider right now and try to sneak a fastball by.
No. Here's another slider, Ash.
I'm gonna go ahead and wager right along with you.
It gets by though, and the runner scores. 6-1 ball game. That one in the dirt. Jason Castro unable to stop it, so Betts is able to come home. Wow pitch.
The slider gets yanked a little bit, and Jason just didn't keep the glove down in the hole and cost him in the end. It is hockey playoff season.
Foul ball there, and that's the 3rd run scored tonight by Mookie Betts. He has now scored 14 runs this season. 1-2 to Bogaerts. The appeal goes to first. Check swing call by Tom Hallion. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Astros have the 7, 8, 9 hitters due up. Gomez, Valbuena, Castro in the bottom of the inning. Robbie Ross is working in the bullpen. In the dirt. 3-2 now for Gregerson after his first run allowed this season. Well, it's necessary every now and then to use that closer, even in a losing situation like this one. Up and in. That one got away, and Bogaerts went sprawling, and he's down. And now he'll get some attention immediately.
That was right up in the chin area, but I have a feeling this got a hand. And you hate to see it in any scenario. Just looks like a slider that gets away and hits that backhand. Some very ugly injuries can come from getting hit in the hand.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all know about that, but so much better than seeing that pitch up in the face area.
We'll get him out of the game and get some ice on it. Looked like it got him somewhere around the hand, the base of the hand, or maybe the right wrist. So we wait for a pinch runner to come in for Bogaerts, who was hit by the pitch. There's Chris Young, who apparently was in the clubhouse, and the Houston native will pinch run for Bogaerts. Young, who has tremendous numbers for his career at Minute Maid Park, is in the game. That's the first hit batsman of the year for Gregerson. David Ortiz is 0 for 3 with a walk. He's the only Red Sox starter not to get a hit so far. 15 hits total. Ball one. One and one. Clifton Clowers with the song Wolverton Mountain.
An inning later, all of a sudden, Clifton Clowers comes out.
Well, we got help from Harry Kleinman on Twitter. Thank you, Harry.
That's good.
I haven't heard a Clifton Clowers reference in decades. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And we got Emily has her favorite Stephen Wright quote. I once drove myself crazy trying to take a close-up of the sunset.
A lot of good stuff.
Ground ball, and Altuve's there. Going to second. Correa back to White at first. And it's a 4-6-3 double play. 1 run scoring on 1 hit. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's 6-1 Red Sox.
Time to check in now and see how the Astros are playing to win. Brought to you by Toyota Tundra. We had talked about the bottom of the order guys and the struggles they've been having early in the season. Tonight, just 1 for 9 for those guys. They did walk 3 times and score the lone run of the ball game. And that one hit, a bunt single by Carlos Gomez. So still a lot of work to be done.
Now Gomez leads it off in the home 9th inning against lefty Robbie Ross. Ross, formerly with the Texas Rangers, joined Boston last year and pitched 54 times. We also have other changes for John Farrell. Brock Holt has moved from left field to shortstop, and Chris Young is the new left fielder. With Ross taking over, the 27-year-old lefty from Nicholasville, Kentucky, faces Gomez and deals ball 1. Gomez 1 for 3. He's hit the ball hard a couple of times. Ross has a 3.12 ERA and has 4 straight shutout innings. In for a strike, and it's 1-1. Heath Hembry went 1 1/3 innings. He allowed no hits, no runs, with 1 walk and struck out 3. Loop to shallow right field over Pedroia, in for a single, and Gomez is 2 for 4.
A little thummy right there, but you certainly take it. Fastball keeps running in there, gets on the hands. A hit of any kind is well received.
Gomez gets hit number 5 for the Astros. They've all been singles. Valbuena has walked twice. He's 0 for 1. Jake Marisnick comes out to the on-deck circle with Jason Castro due up next. There's a slicing foul ball. Strike 1 for Valbuena. Robbie Ross threw a season-high 3 scoreless innings Tuesday night against Tampa Bay, giving up 1 hit, striking out 4 with no walks in the game. Ross has started 12 major league games, so the Red Sox are keeping him stretched out as a long man in their pen. He misses there, and it's 1-1. Craig Kimbrell, the Boston closer, apparently was unavailable for their game yesterday. There is a right-hander warming up right now. 1-2. Robbie's fastball typically reaches mid-90s.
Yeah, he can rush it pretty good.
Boston got him in a trade in January of 2015 for Anthony Renato. That's a strike, and that's out number 1. 10th strikeout for Boston pitching. Craig Kimbrell is warming up. Jake Marisnick walks toward the box. Pinch hitting for Jason Castro. Marisnick is 1 for 10 this season. 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter. Jose Altuve's on deck. Hanley Ramirez is playing behind Gomez at first.
Hey, boy, Jake.
In the seat for strike 1. Marisnick got in some playing time at Texas. The Astros faced back-to-back left-handers.
Come on, Jake.
And in that opener of this series against Derek Holland, he started in left field and pinch hit in the second game of the series. In tight to him. 1-1 to Marisnick. Way outside. How many times has Hannigan extended his left arm all the way out to receive a pitch tonight.
I anticipate a couple of ice bags on the left shoulder.
Boy. Yeah, his left shoulder should be barking at him tomorrow. 3 balls and a strike now.
Some base runners, make something happen here.
George Springer would be up if the inning continued with Altuve doing something. There's a foul ball. And of course Marisnick is trying to get aboard right now with 1 out, try to stir things up just so those power guys might be able to get to the plate here. And if they do, it would be against Kimbrel. Marisnick takes, and that is a walk. That's the 7th walk to Astros hitters tonight. Now with 2 men on, trailing by 5, Altuve comes up 0 for 3 with a walk. Boston bullpen came in the 4th inning yesterday. David Price, their starter, gave up 8 earned runs in 3 2/3. And Tuesday night, Joe Kelly went 2/3 of an inning, so the relievers were really extended with Ross pitching the 3 shutout innings on that occasion. Strike 1 to Altuve, trying to extend his 5-game hitting streak. Well, the White Sox turned a triple play against Texas tonight. They went from 9-3 to 2 to 6-2 to 5. So it sounds as if the Rangers may have been running the bases about the way the Astros did.
That sounds rather routine. That set of assists.
High drive way back. Bradley into right center field. He's cruising back and making the catch on the run. Here's the tag at second. That's a big play for out number 2 as Bradley legged it out to get back there. Gomez to third base.
Some of the outs Altuve's been making. Ball's hit so well. Big part of the yard. Watch him drive this baseball. And look how far Bradley has to go. He was in left center field to start this.
Made it look easy.
He did in the end.
Now 2 outs and 2 on. Runners at first and third for George Springer is 1 for 4. The Astros began the night hitting .174 with runners in scoring position. There's a shot into left field with a runner going. Gomez will score. Marisnick going first to third, and it's 6-2. RBI single. Springer is 11th run batted in.
That bat's coming around. Altuve's not slipping. He's just hitting in poor luck. Some of these guys to perform up to their levels that they're capable of. This offense can turn around. Slider. George stays back and puts it on the barrel. Actually, very close to maybe having 3 hits tonight.
John Farrell has come out to remove Ross and bring in the closer, Craig Kimbrel, with the score of 6-2. 2 men on. Correa will be the batter when we come back. stirred up some trouble and prompted a pitching change for John Farrell of Boston. They have runners at the corners, Springer and Marisnick at first and third respectively. Carlos Correa will be the batter against the closer for Boston, hard-throwing right-hander Craig Kimbrell.
Still just 27 years of age. He's done quite a bit in the big leagues. Four-time All-Star. He's been in the Cy Young voting top 10 4 different times. And he's got some strikeout numbers that are striking, to say the least. Last year, struck out 87 in 59 innings. On his career, striking out better than 14 and a half batters per 9 innings.
That is impressive. Correa, with 2 singles and a walk, has been on in 3 of his 4 plate appearances. Colby Rasmus on deck. Runner takes off for second. There's a swing and a miss, and Springer will reach second easily without a play. Defensive indifference, no steal. So now a well-placed single could make the score 6-4 and bring the potential tying run to the plate. Time called.
In the person of a rather capable home run hitter.
Yeah, Mr. Rasmus, who drilled 2 last night to get to 5. This one gets by, but the runners do not advance, and wisely so. There's no need to here. Down by 4 with 1 out remaining.
I think Ryan Hanigan might have gotten beat up on this heater from Kimbrell. I don't know if that hit glove or shin guard.
He has been scrambling all night behind the plate.
He was actually too embarrassed to show his pain right there.
Yeah. That might have caught a shin guard.
Yeah, it actually had that sound.
Sure did. Correa fouls it back, 1-2. Kimbrell came up with the Atlanta Braves. He was a 3rd-round pick in 08. And he had 4 monster years for the Braves. An All-Star from 11 through 14 with them. And last year with San Diego, he had 39 saves and 43 opportunities. So he has 229 career saves. Slider, good stop there by Hanigan. 2-2.
Yeah, this is not going to go down as one of the most fun nights for Ryan Hanigan in his career, but that's a good stop.
All right, Carlos, come on.
He's had a chance to pull about every muscle in the human body tonight.
Proving that he's doing his flexibility work.
Popped up. Hanigan back near the screen. It's out of play.
Fastball of Kimbrell at 97 there. But he gets so low with his arm. It's one of those different look heaters. And Billy Wagner was a guy who had one of those, and it just tended to be over the bat at all times.
Interesting, because when he came up, Billy Wagner really took him under his wing and counseled him.
Look at the arm angle where this comes out of, and the drive, that bent back leg, and it comes out low at 97, and it's just a different look.
Tap the shortstop for Brock Holt. And the Red Sox are able to hold off the Astros here in the 9th inning to win it 6-2. A win for Stephen Wright, his first of the season. Kimbrell gets save number 5 in as many tries. The Astros now have slipped to 5-12 to open the season. They're saddled with a 4-game losing streak, and they'll try to end that on the 3:05 start tomorrow. This one takes 3 hours 28 minutes. Wright 1-2 with the win. McHugh 1-3 with the loss. Final score: Red Sox 6, Astros 2.